everyone, and welcome to Scrap Time, a Call of Duty podcast where we talk about Call of Duty esports, hosted by the one, the only world champion and coaching world champion as well, James Crowder. Also, Ben J. Razim. Let's get right into the show, fellas. We have a guest today, Nameless, and he's here. What's going on, yo? How's it going?
That was great. So yeah, we're doing the show. We got Nameless as our guest for the people that are watching on audio and in the stream. Nameless is the guest. It's in the title as well. Ben, if you want to kick us off with the event, and obviously you can start with the outline and everything, we'll go from there. We have a lot of stuff to cover, so let's be focused today, Ben. You know, no ranting there.
I'm always focused. Why am I getting daggers from you?
I'm just kidding. Start us off.
All good. It's all good. So yeah, I think we should start talking about the the event itself, and then we'll get into sort of the team stuff. So for those who maybe aren't fully caught up, we had an event in Arlington, Texas, at the Esports Stadium Arlington this past weekend, hosted by OpTic. They actually own the lease on the building, so it's like their venue. And it was completely sold out, the event. Like, the event was so sold out that I'd pull up every morning at 9 and the line would already be around the building to get in. Like, that's how like hardcore people were.
Wait, they were starting at 3 a.m. They were lining up at 3 a.m.
Oh, it was 3 a.m., bro.
Yeah.
We went out Saturday night with Crim 7. We were at this OpTic party. And I don't guess Crim 7 went straight from the party, maybe back to the hotel for a second, and back to wait outside.
Yeah, he was sleeping on the sidewalk, getting the hangover out of the way. Fucking nuts, dude. People are lining up at 3 a.m., dude. 3 a.m. It's fucking insane. Hey, I respect the dedication, though.
I tip it. So yeah, so we have like 3 different perspectives, which will be kind of interesting. Obviously, I was in the expo hall pretty much all the time doing the flank stuff. Chris, you were obviously backstage coaching and coming out. And then Ant, you were obviously doing your thing on the desk. So I think we all had 3 different perspectives about the event. I'd love for us to have a conversation like what we actually thought about it. I think we should ask our guest, Ant, first, his thoughts.
Yeah, what were your thoughts, Ant?
I thought it was great. The fans were awesome. You know, the guys who wait all night and stuff, like they just want the front row, I think, because like the crowd shots and stuff. And like the most fun obviously happens all the way in the front. I thought that OpTic did a good job with like their expo hall on the other side. That was really cool. I went over there a couple of times, seen Ben, you're over there doing your thing. You know, they just had a lot of activities. I think that's good for like a COD event, like things to do outside of just like the stage. But yeah, overall, really, really good time. The crowd was super hype. Obviously, it was an OpTic event, so like the fandom goes crazy at that event. The only thing that I wish that they did a little bit differently was the OpTic team's walkouts. And I wish there was a little more epic. And then in between maps, having like an MC. Those are the only 2 things that I thought that this event was missing. Aside from that, the event, it went crazy.
Wait, do most events normally have like an MC in between, or am I faded?
So, Chris, remember New York? Blaze. Well, yeah, we have Blaze. So Blaze he wasn't at this one, and I'm not sure 100%, but I'm pretty sure it's like the team's decision whether or not to bring an MC or not.
Okay.
And I guess OpTic just like didn't think they needed one because they have a bunch of like OpTic talent, but
yeah,
they had so much stuff going on. Like I'm not saying like blame them for not having one. I just think I think people can look at this event and be like, all right, an MC is probably needed, because a lot of the times in between maps, whether it was like a control where sort of the energy gets sucked out of the room sometimes, or if the match didn't have big stakes, I felt like in between maps, like the energy would get sucked out of the room at times, especially if OpTic wasn't playing. And when you have an MC, bro, he just keeps that energy flowing. So I think that's a big thing for the future.
Yeah,
like
I don't experience that as much, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, that makes sense.
I'm gonna circle back on the MC thing for a second. How like for both of you, when you were backstage in the dugout, and if you were in like the desk waiting for the match, like how loud was it in the room relative to other events?
Oh, so you mean like after games?
Like during and after games, sure.
Oh, I have videos that I was like recording. Like during the game, when a play happened, shit was hype. Like it got pretty loud. After games though, it got pretty quiet.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I feel like it was like, again, from my experience in the dugout, it was just loud, you know, like, but I don't really notice in between games, because in between games, I'm either on stage, obviously, like talking to them, or during like the break when they come back and talk to us. I don't hear anything other than like, you know, like I kind of like tunnel vision into the world of like, you know, we got to do this, you know, all this other stuff. So it's like, I don't really experience that as much. So I can't really, I don't know. But during the game, when, you know, shit's going wild, yeah, it's fucking, you know, the crowd's going loud.
Nuts.
Yeah, you can hear that. Yeah.
How would you rank this relative to like other events you've been in terms of like crowd noise?
I think esports Arlington, like the stadium, is really good for sound. Like I think just the way that they have it set up, like it's just loud. Like it's not like a big room, but it looks big. You know what I mean? And it's like the perfect size for a COD event. So I wouldn't put it number one. I think London is obviously always number one. I think some Anaheim's got pretty loud, but it's up there. It's probably top 5. I personally think just the way New York was set up was the most lit ever, bro. Just the way that event was set up.
I think for New York there were 2 things. One is like that's a classic theater venue, so the acoustics are really good in that building. And 2, I think like also just like what the intensity of that crowd, and like there hadn't been a COD event ever in New York at that level. New York itself needed the crowd and just sort of all this kind of external factor beyond their performances to try to get to where they need to get to qualify for champs. So we were in conversation like on the couch about, because none of us. The problem is I don't think any of the 4 of us at the flank were really had time to really sit in the venue and kind of like hear how loud it was. And it felt like at times OpTic was doing a good job of like feeding off that crowd energy, kind of propel themselves. So I'm curious what you guys think about that. Do you think that like, to your guys' point, it was so loud in there, do you think like certain teams benefited or got hurt by just sort of the overall energy in the room?
So you're saying like what, like crowd? Sorry, I was looking at a stat thing too.
I'm just saying because it was not like an empty venue, like because it was loud. Do you think it like benefit some teams as they were playing just because of all the energy that was in the building?
I mean, I think the energy. We're talking about the home crowd of OpTic. Sorry, my bad. I was like fucking spaced. Right? That's what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that always helps OpTic. I feel like, I mean, I've never played for OpTic, and for a crowd like that. So I can't really speak on it personally with an experience, like just like being there. But like, even when I played as a player, when like, you know, crowd's going crazy and like they're behind you and then you can just like tell, like you kind of get like that momentum. I definitely think it can only help you for the most part if you're a part of the team that's obviously a favorite. I don't really think it negatively impacts many teams though. Like in that sense, like I don't really think it negatively impacts teams. I think it helps them, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, I still feel like, you know, you still have to play like good COD, because even like with OpTic, the way they started the event, like, you know, they obviously had the crowd the entire time and they didn't start well, and then they started playing good. You know what I mean? Like the crowd doesn't win the game for them / like lose it for the other team. So like, I don't think it hurts, but like you win COD because you win COD. You know what I mean? You have to play good still. So I don't know. I think
I'll just say this, like I feel like, and Chris could probably attest to this, like the only time like the crowd really affects you when you're going against OpTic is like when you just want to beat them so bad so you can beat the crowd sometimes. I feel like some players can just be like, I'm about to fry them, you know? And like that might just change like their mindset in a couple of situations. I feel like it's the only way. No,
so actually, you know, that's actually a perfect way to explain it. I guess like you're playing with too much emotion at that point, where it's like they're in your head, where it's like you're using it as a quote unquote motivation to beat them. Like you said, like I'm about to fry these guys and shut them all up. And like you have all this shit planned, like, you know, all this stuff. Like if that's like your mindset, I would say 8 out of 10 times that affects people negatively. Usually, like, you know, some people can act like it makes them play better. Most of the time, it doesn't. Like, if you're playing with that much emotion, things could usually go wrong too, because at the end of the day, usually that leads to you, like, doing stuff that's, like, just off the game plan, right? Like, you're emotional in a good or bad way. So I would say maybe that way it could hurt you, but I don't really think there's many people now. Maybe a few rookies, maybe. I'm talking maybe. But, like, I feel like a lot of people have been around for a long time now where that's not, like, how you know, really think. Like, for example, I any of the players on my team aren't stepping on that stage, like, and their motivation is to shut the crowd up. Their motivation is to win. You know what I mean? Like it's not stepping on that. So it's like, I feel like, that would be the only way it kind of really affects you negatively, if like you almost get too into it. But I don't think, I don't think too many players really deal with that anymore. I would say that was more of like a back in the day, like where it was still relatively new. I don't think that's as much anymore.
I don't think it affects the other team as much as it just makes the like OpTic play better. I think that's the like, I guess that's like the answer you're looking for. Is like,
and I don't want to take it away from them either, though. They still played good.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the OpTic side of it, because when we get to them, I have kind of notes on that. But I want to just kind of wrap up sort of 2 kind of event things. One is just to speak from the Expo Hall side. The Expo Hall is great. If you weren't there, they had open bracket, they had us, they had merch, they had like a basketball court, they had like a soccer net and the soccer activity. There was, I think, supposed to be a scum watch party, but they had tech issues on day one, so they had to pivot a little bit. So it became like a signing area with screens and people could just kind of hang out. It was really cool, and I thought like last year, if you'd gone to Major One, they didn't have all of that because I think there was another event going on the other side of the building. I think it was like a dance competition or something, but this time around, they took over the whole building. And my question to you both is, considering I think what was a really good festival atmosphere. Oh, we didn't even talk about the entranceway too, which had this kind of hall of champ. I don't think anyone really talked about it. It was like a hall. They didn't use it, but there's this hall of champ. If you walked into the building from the front, they kind of replicated the old MLG walkway. Like they had this hall of champions.
Oh, I never walked that way.
That had banners of everybody that won event.
That
won events cool. And like their names. Yeah. You walk through that to like the merch shop, which is that sort of the whole lobby area before you go into the ESA. So that was pretty cool. I think my question to you both is like, I'm sure there's an appetite from the OpTic team to do this every year. Like, are you guys using, we should have this as, ESA as an anchor event every year, give, OpTic at least one major?
I mean,
yeah.
I think I think their major just always sells fully out. I think their major is always lit because of the fan base, and I think it's just an awesome like staple of Call of Duty. Like I feel like that major is always like really, really cool. You know what I mean? So like yeah, I think that's cool. I don't know. That wouldn't bother me in that sense. Like I feel like their major is just always going to do. It's a guarantee that it's always going to do well, and it's always going to sell out, and it's always going to be fun. The building's amazing, even on the pro player side of things, and like the team side, the pro player warm ups, incredible. They're big, they're spacious. You have your own space. You're not standing next to teams while you're talking over strats. You know what I mean? Like you're not whispering. Like you have more freedom to like really like figure shit out. Like I think it's incredible. I think it's awesome. So I love that venue for that reason too. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love the venue. I think the city of Arlington's a bit mixed. I mean, to do a lot of stuff, you kind of need to go to other parts of Dallas, but the venue and everything around it, I think, is like perfect.
No one cares about that.
So what are we there for?
Yeah, we're there for the venue. I don't give a shit. You don't need to go to the fucking bar after. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, you agree. I mean, like, we're gonna go to Toronto at the end of the year, and like, I think like that vibe of that city is better. Arlington's just very spread out.
Yeah,
like kind of. So.
No, for sure. I know what you're saying, but no, like obviously, what we're there for sure is good. They do everything that we're there for amazing. So yeah, for sure.
And bro, a lot of the teams are already out there. So it's like
true.
It's so much easier. Like even from like a production standpoint, like they have all the things in place already, and like they have a desk there, they have a stage already built. You know what I mean? So it makes total sense to like return there, especially being like, dude, look at how sick this event was. OpTic had like everyone there, like literally everybody was there, and all the COD community loves everybody on OpTic. So it's like. It makes perfect sense to return there every year.
Cool. Well, that was the event. As always, we'll get to team stuff. Before we get to team stuff, there's one thing around the majors I wanted to discuss before getting to team stuff. I think we've had enough majors now that I think almost everyone in the like competitive side kind of has an agreement on certain changes that have been made. I thought Easy Mac made a really good tweet after the event on some of the stuff. I think especially around scheduling.
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
That we should discuss. So I want to dive in on that. We'll scroll through all the tweets and then I think we need to have a conversation about this because I think that's the schedule for the majors, like 2 or 3 changes away from being perfect. But these tweaks need to happen because I think it's affecting the schedule of certain teams. So I'll give you an example to dive in this. Like a team I think they got really effed this weekend by scheduling is Vegas.
Oh, they got. No, I was talking to Clay about it. They got smoked. Yeah.
They got screwed because unfortunately the way that the schedule works, and Austin kind of talks through it this tweet. If you guys haven't seen it, we'll link it in the YouTube as well. Basically, because of how day 1, day 2, day 3 schedules work, Vegas got basically played like first, last, first. And they never got an opportunity to get in the middle of the day. And it's like the absolute vibe kill because you're just so much gap in between you playing. And also when you're first on days, it also makes it hard to get a warm-up scrim. So I'm just curious if you guys have read through this tweet storm. He also talks about the winners finals thing, which I think we all agree right now. Winners finals is the first match on Sunday. Probably should swap with losers semis, which is now the second match.
Go ahead. So sorry to intervene, but the winners final on Sunday or whatever, what we talked about, like we won the event, and the one thing that we did was complain after you win, so it doesn't look like an excuse about that format. That format is fucking horrible. We've talked about it. Obviously, the finals format sucks too, but that's a different story. Like, they like, I'm almost positive it was said like that's an easy fix. I fully expected that to be like different this event, and it wasn't. I don't know. I could have swore that it was like told like, oh, that's a really easy fix. Like that should be no problem. Like just move the matches around and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. I don't know. That's what I have no idea. I could have. I'm like 99.9% sure that it was told like Tyler was told like, yo, yeah, that's an easy fix. That's just a switch of a match. Thanks for the feedback. Boom. I thought it was like, oh, feedback.
Switched.
Yeah, of course. That makes no sense.
Bro.
But that's the thing. I'm almost positive that was done and confirmed, and then it wasn't. I don't know. It was so weird. So yeah, no, that shit's crazy.
Wait, we should explain to everybody like this change to like the chat, but then also I have another change that I think I would add to this too.
Go ahead, Ant.
I think we should. Well, I don't know why we do 4-5-5-4. Why don't we do 5-5-4-4? You know what I mean? So it's like later in the tournament, and it's like on because that Saturday, that last match, that slot is pretty terrible.
The only reason why you can't do 5 on the first day is then so you're playing one of the losers round 1 games on day 1, and then you're playing the rest of the 3 on the next day.
Yeah,
what you're saying. Yeah.
So like basically like, well then one team would only have to play one more match if like the team that wins in that losers round at the end of the day, they would be slotted like a mid or like a second to last match on the Saturday, and then like they would already be top 4 at that point. Or
yeah.
I would say the only problem with having 5 matches on the first day is someone's going to then get this weird. There's one team that's going to play on the loser side. They'll play one match on Thursday and then one match on Friday.
Wait,
it said the double on Friday. There ends up being this weird competitive integrity issue with that.
Wait, we already. I think why did 5-4 round. Yeah, so that's day 2. You already have it. Round 2. So you already.
You already have that. Well, 2 teams. It actually affects 2 teams that end up having to play. One of them has to play on Friday, and one of them has to play on Saturday. I would say probably the argument is they figure the crowd's gonna be less packed on Thursdays, and they want to have more matches on Friday, Saturday, because that's when there will be more attendance and more viewership, which would sort of juice the numbers. Would be my guess.
But if I actually take data from that, I'm curious to see if that actually translates. Because I'll be honest, on Saturday, by the time the match 5 hits, the crowd is literally
unless it's OpTic or some shit. Yeah, the crowd is dead.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's what happened on day 2. Is like after the London match, I think the crowd kind of cleared out.
Oh yeah.
People had gotten in early. I do agree with Austin's about flipping sort of sides of the losers bracket, because again, you fix this Vegas issue where they won on Friday and then they play the last match.
Dude, the first and last match is tough.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think we did first and last year. I'm pretty sure at the OpTic Major too. I just remember almost like on Saturday we lost. Maybe we lost. I don't know, but I just remember walking out of the venue at like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night and just being like, damn, it is fucking late. And like we had to go like in Sunday and like play through. I think it was like losers. I'm almost positive something like that happened. It wasn't as miserable as what Vegas had to do though. Bro, playing first and then last is tough. I'm pretty sure they were the first team to actually do that and win, right? Wasn't there a stat of that? Or no? Was that not true?
What about Toronto or
Vegas? No, Vegas. I'm almost positive that Vegas was the first team to win the first match and also win that last match too. Like actually win them both. I don't know if that's true though. Maybe someone just said some bullshit.
Really good talking point to bring to them to change the schedule.
I think it might. Maybe something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because first off, not a lot of teams I think that are on the loser side or starting on the loser side of a loser round 1 is winning both those matches unless they drop down for winners. But I won't be surprised. Listen, if you read through this tweet thread, I think also makes a good point about kind of fixing the problem with the Thursday schedule is it's variable, because basically what they try and do, at least from my understanding on Thursday, is they try to essentially get the whole team the opportunity, if they're in winners round 1, to sort of pick the slot they want. And they try and also, I think, maximize, like they try to find an EU friendly match and make that first. Again, everything's in the guise of trying to increase viewership. But the Friday schedule and the Saturday schedule, this like bracket side point, because at that point it becomes like very structured, can use some tweaks. We talked about the winners finals thing. And the one other thing that Austin brought up, which I think we should discuss, the grand finals format right now is very funky. Control and S&D is basically the swing, because it's 2-2-3. So what Austin's proposing, and I actually think it's not a terrible idea, is saying, okay, we should go to like a best 8 and then give the first team like a 1 map advantage. Just the one problem with that when you do that is then what happens when you get to map 8? It's 4-4. And you gotta play a tiebreaker match. It's basically just a best of 9 with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah.
But I think in general, I'm curious you guys' thoughts on what tweaks we can make to the current finals format because I think it's not as exciting as it could be.
Just do bracket reset.
I mean, I've been saying this since CDL started literally 4 years ago. And 4 years ago, it was actually correct when we played Vegas in the best of 9 in the final, and they were up 1-0 when in the final champs in MW. I don't really love the bracket reset. I know there's probably data and shit with like viewership and all this other stuff. I'm pretty sure viewership's way lower the second series no matter what. I'm pretty sure it's like weird. Sure. I don't know. But regardless of that, I think a best of 9, best of 7 is not bad, but I think a best of 9 shows how complete of a team you have to be. You know what I mean? You can't have too many weak spots because the map pool obviously is going to go pretty deep. If you want to win a tournament, you can't have like 3 bad maps that you just can't play because you'll probably get exposed. And I think the only thing I've always said is the 1-0 lead just needs to be necessary. Like, again, I've said this so many times, there is no disadvantage from being in losers in the final. Like, and I've said this before, it's almost an advantage, but like, you can use the argument, oh, they gassed out. I don't think really people gassed out. Like, I don't think Thieves, like, I really, like, even when we've like come through losers, I think we won through losers before too. Like, you can win and lose through losers. I don't think you gas out as much. I just think a lot of the times, like, usually if you drop the losers, you have some flaws and you don't, like, capitalize regardless. My point is, like, I don't see how you can win all the way through winners. And then a team that has lost the tournament already, lost at the tournament, gets to play a fair final. Like, I think that's so stupid. And, like, you can say map vetoes. I feel so repetitive talking about this, but, like, bro, if you make a final, you're probably a good enough team where those map vetoes should not be enough of an advantage anyway, where you can play most of the maps. Like, bro, it doesn't make any sense that the team in winners, like, dude, the veto advantage is like nothing. Bro, when we played Thieves, like, they got the veto a fucking hard point. They got the veto a control or a search or some shit. Like, they got 2 of our best maps out of the tournament when we played Thieves in the finals. So what the fuck's the point?
You did get their 2 worst. To be fair, I'm not to play a little bit devil's advocate.
No, I know.
Get their 2 worst maps in the series, and that's probably why they lost.
Granted, yeah, and that's why they didn't win the final, because they weren't fully complete yet. I get that, and like neither were we. Our hard points were kind of ass too. But like my point is, that's not like enough of an advantage where it's like, dude, and you also know how that goes. Like, as bad as some of your bad maps are, bro, they scrim all the maps every single day, twice a day, 3 times a day. Like, teams can show up and play their quote-unquote bad map and still fucking win it. It's not like... I just don't see how that is fair to the team that's in winners. Like, it makes no sense. Like, I feel like it should 100% be, like, you actually have an advantage for being there. Like, I don't know. It just makes no sense.
From a competitor standpoint, Kristen, you're on the team, you're a coach, right? So it's like you're playing a double elim tournament where you got single eliminated.
Yes.
It's
so stupid.
Like essentially you started in losers, right? And it's like, all right, well, we just lost 1 match and we're going home. So
bro,
I completely understand it because they got 2 chances and they also then got to play 8 matches and become final through the losers bracket.
No, 100%. And for people saying that LA Thieves wasn't good at a silo, I understand that, bro. I get that, but that is not, bro. Towards the end of the year, when champs, listen, speak about this. When every team is final, no teams have that many weak maps, especially at champs. Everyone knows this. The top 4 teams aren't going to have that many of weak maps. It's going to be how they match up with each other because at the end of the year, everyone knows how to play the game at a very, very final point. So speak about champs that actually matters, the event that actually matters the most. When you get to the final, there's not going to be, oh, LA Thieves just can't play a silo. So your argument goes out the fucking window anyway. And then on top of that, like, yeah, dude, like, imagine you play a double elimination, you get to the final and you lose 4-5 in a best of 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, you lost 1 map extra and like you lose a tournament. And from a competitive standpoint, and I'll even speak to this on my team, I hate the fact that I can go back to the room when we lost to Toronto, and we're obviously upset. We're a little bit down that we made these mistakes and all this other shit. We're all like kind of raging, trying to figure it out, get better, blah blah blah. And the quote from every team that loses in that scenario is like, well, it doesn't matter if we make the final; it's fair game anyway. Like, bro, that should
Yeah, that's not good.
bro, you should get thrown into the losers bracket and be like, fuck, I am like, they just made it that much harder to win. Like, bro, you should not be like, oh, it's all good. We win one more match, we're good. You know what I mean? Like, that makes no sense. Like, bro, you should have a 1-0 lead. Just like how in MW, Dallas had a 1-0 lead versus my own fucking team. I'm saying this against me. Like, my own team was down 0-1 in the finals of MW, how it should have been, because they deserved it for beating us in winners finals. There is no argument to that at all. Like, it makes no sense. Bro, you don't get punished for being a losers. You don't punish for losing. And if anything, again, sometimes, talking about gassing out and stuff, OpTic's a little different because they did play a lot of matches. Use my team as an example. If we lost to Toronto, right, and we feel like, oh, we could have done this, and that, we could have beat them, whatever, we lose. We're done. We go to the losers bracket. We beat OpTic. And we 3-0 OpTic, hypothetically. We 3-0 OpTic, right? So that's 3 maps. 30 minutes. 30 minutes of gameplay. We're right back where we fucking started, but now we just got a 3-map fucking warm-up to play in the fucking final while Toronto is sitting on their fucking hands. Yeah, you're telling me that 3 maps, you're telling me that 30 minutes is gassing out? Bro, that makes no fucking sense. Like, bro, there's no argument to this. It's dumb. It's fucking dumb. Sorry. Yeah, I've been complaining about this for 4 years. Sorry, it gets me very bad.
There should be an advantage, and I don't know, like with the one map thing that he posted, what is he saying? Like they just add an extra hard point and then a team auto gets the hard point win? I don't know if that should be the fix either.
Nah, I think it's so simple. Best of 9, best of 7, 1-0 advantage. Shut the fuck up, don't go to losers or win. Done. I feel like it ain't hard. I gotta be going crazy for the fact that it hasn't been done. There has to be some crazy ass data that I think the argument for this always has been like some fans don't understand why you'd be up 1-0. There has to be the most insane data in the world for that to be true. I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's just insane.
Wait, so if you get a 1-0 advantage, I'm trying to understand what Easy Mac's saying.
His is more confusing than it needs to be. I don't know. His is a little bit.
Why don't we just do a best of 7? You get a 1-0 advantage, and you just get to pick the map that you win. Yeah, that would be godlike.
I don't know. Just a little bit more of an advantage. I think we're fine. I don't think we have to overthink this. Is why I'm getting so angry. This is as simple as it fucking comes.
It's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping. Look, I know usually there's like a round of feedback after these majors. We had a couple more weeks. I think the majors format is really close, but there definitely are some tweaks. So hopefully, really takes you guys' feedback and make some changes because we're close. But
this has been 3 years of that feedback. Still waiting.
Well, hopefully this is the one that tips it. But
I don't understand how it's still here, and why did we go from MW, where we had it the right way, to now it's not?
What are we? I don't remember. What we're doing MW.
Dallas was up 1-0.
Oh yeah, they just get a 1-0 lead.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
We switched to BO9 though. BO9.
No, that was a little long.
And they were like people would be checked. Like the crowd would even start.
No, yeah, I get that. A best of 9's long. I fully understand. Maybe there's some data that you lose a lot of viewership retention towards the end. I get it. But a best of 7 then.
Best 7-1-0. That sounds fantastic, honestly.
Bro, it doesn't take more than 5 seconds of thinking. I'm so confused. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, so hopefully after 3 years of saying this, we eventually get it.
I wonder what the orgs said about I bet you this came up. I wonder if the orgs are all, like, the org owners talked about it at all. I have no idea how this goes down.
We'll try and find out, maybe update it at some point on a future episode. But let's move on.
Okay.
It was a great event.
Moving on.
I think we all had a good time. Obviously, coming up next, we got Major 4 in a box in Columbus, and we'll probably talk about that in future episodes. It's going to be an interesting vibe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the weekend. Chris, as always, we'll start with your team. Get that out of the way. You guys got third the first event, obviously won the last one, and then you got third again. I think just like Major 1, the limiter this weekend on your team, because you guys were nasty in search for up 1 the whole weekend. Got 1, in fact, the entire stage, the Toronto and Winners Finals. But the respawn let you down. Like, is that your biggest takeaway from the weekend? And in general, like, what things you guys working on the next couple of weeks before Major 4 qualifiers start up?
I mean, obviously, biggest takeaway is we suck at respawn. We're good at search, but we don't suck at respawn. We're inconsistent at it. Like, I'll say one thing: before Major 1, I thought we looked pretty good and like, you know, like well-rounded. I think we showed up that Sunday and just kind of played flat. You know what I mean? I think we played flat. We didn't play our best. We lost. Before Major 2, I thought we looked pretty good in scrims in hardpoint. You know what I'm saying? We looked pretty good like in respawn. We weren't fully translating the matches, but we had it in scrims, you know? So it was like, you know, we got this. We're going to do it. And we obviously came out there. We were still a little shaky, but we didn't translate it fully. And then we ended up winning that event, not due to our stellar hardpoint, but we still got it done. We won controls enough and we did what we needed to do. Then before Major 3, we went through like a weird, like probably like week and a half, 2 weeks of like practice, like throughout the stage, where our hard point just wasn't clicking. We weren't on the same page with a lot of like how we wanted to do stuff as like a whole roster, like figuring out like how we want to do this and like why we're losing and what needs to change and all this stuff. So we had to do like a pretty big reset, I would say, on just like what we needed to do. So by the time we started like slowly getting it back, you know, we were towards the major and like we just tried to do our best. I think we did obviously decent in hard point to the point where we won the hotel versus Toronto and then lost. And then, you know, we played some close ones. We won one versus Thieves and all that shit. Like we had some like signs of like, okay, we can do this. But at the end of the day, like it just needs to be more consistent. Like we showed up on that Sunday and we were making a lot of mistakes. I think control was also like underrated. People were talking about our hard point a lot. I think we lost the control on both series that we lost, right? Yeah. Like it wasn't just like hard point versus Toronto. If you go 1 for 2, of course you want to win all fucking maps you play. But if you go 1 for 2 against the top 4 team in hard point,
pretty good.
That's good. You won the one hard point. They won the one hard point. I've talked about this. Hypothetically, you win your map pick. They win their map pick. You win your search map pick. They win their search map pick in a perfect little world. Then control, right? That's that mode that like swings you. It saves you. It momentum swings everything. That's that mode. And our control looked like fucking ass. And again, it was just like mistakes that we were making when, I guess from my perspective, it's the most frustrating mistakes, but at the same time, the most fixable. We just have to, you know, really buckle down and fix it. Is when we were getting kills, we were doing the wrong stuff, you know, what we were doing, like how we were manipulating the map, how we were controlling the map, and a bunch of other stuff, as like broad as I could say that right there, that was leading to us like almost helping the other team sometimes. And when you make those mistakes, it's like you're doing the hard part, getting 4 dead, you know, killing the team a lot, and then you're just doing stupid shit after, or your teamwork's awful, or your commerce, anything like that happens, and then you lose. So it's like we were doing the hard part right and the easy part wrong, and like frustrating, but it's not a terrible problem to have. But we still, again, we're so much better than that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And like there was a lot of inconsistency of like what we should be doing. You know what I mean? Like the way I always viewed it as a coach is when 4 kills go down, or when kills go down, or when we're approaching a break, hold, anything, I should be able, before the play happens, snap my finger and say like, all right, this guy's going to go here, 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 and here with the map. Like I should be able to control the arrows. And there were some times where like we would just be like, all of a sudden we'd do that and be like, wait, why is this guy you know what I'm saying? We were like so confused. I was like, wait, this is not like, this doesn't look right. And then obviously things played out wrong. So we just need to get more on the same page and get better practice. I think Major 3 was obviously another eye-opener that our respawn's a little bit shaky. I think we'll get it down. And I do think going into Major 3, our respawn didn't look that great in practice either. So it's not something where it was like, oh, what the fuck happened? We showed up here and, you know, we were still inconsistent with that. So I think now that we got that major hiccup out of the way, I'm hoping now that, you know, Major 3 to Major 4, we can start focusing on like the little things that make you an elite respawn team, where like you're actually doing the right stuff together. Like some of our breaks were really like just not that good. Some of our holding opportunities when we were getting kills was not that good. And now that we can focus on more of the smaller stuff, I think we'll be good. So we're just gonna have to get a couple more weeks of practice and do that. But it's frustrating, but it's not the worst problem to have, I guess would be my statement for that. Still annoying, but we can fix it.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah. So it seems like you guys are like working on like the long-term cohesion. Everybody knows where they need to be at all times in respawn, like trying to perfect it.
Sometimes it just goes wrong.
It just goes wrong. It's like a harder process. Mm-hmm. And like in this game, what I've noticed though, like some teams, you know, not super buttoned up. Like I look at like OpTic in Boston, who had pretty crazy hardpoint tournaments. Like I think Boston was like 6-0 hardpoint at one point throughout the tournament, and then they started to lose. And then we saw OpTic; they went on a 9 hardpoint map win streak.
Yeah,
or 8 or 9. It was crazy. But like the way that they played it was like so aggressive, and then like taking like almost like these little like, micro risks, like like getting out of hill, reflanking it. Like every time I would just feel like hook and shots are like behind people. And it's like you can just run over people playing like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess my question to you kind of is like after seeing that, has it like shifted a little bit to where you look at Simp and Abees and you're like, yo guys, like maybe hit this a little more, take a couple more risks? Like, does that shift your opinion, or is it like still long-term strategic, like this is how we want to play? Because I feel like they're a little bit more like Abeezy and Simp are a little bit more like shifty, like they'll throw shoulders, they'll wait, you know, like traditionally like wait for each other and stuff, and they'll still take those risks. But Hook and Shotzi, at least in my opinion, they took so many more risks this tournament. It would like give up hill and stuff and just make some crazy plays, and it was working at times, but that could also be catastrophic.
Well, I was gonna say it all depends on that stuff. So like, you know, OpTic looked great, and they obviously hit that fucking form, especially in the hardpoint with like winning all those, and especially their Fortress looked really good, and they were taking those risks. But like, you obviously can take those risks and lose, and for a lot of people that say that, then you obviously have Shotzi that takes the risk on the Fortress control, and everyone starts roasting him, saying he pushed out the back door. You know, like there's, you know, obviously it's like a double-edged sword in a sense. I don't think it's more like, yo, Simp and Abeezy, you need to do this. I do think though, like when you get your subs in positions like Shotzi and Hook and shit, like when you do get that like flow, they dominate. You know what I mean? That's like the whole point of a sub player, is to get inside and off spawn. You're killing them off sprint. You're being annoying. You're flanking them. You're pinching them. You're doing all that stuff. Like 100%. That's like where you want your sub to be, because that's how they dominate. They don't dominate long range fights or taking 2-on-1s and shit that people are like triple swinging them and shit and like sitting in corners. So like, yeah, but I don't think it was like a Abeezy and Simp issue. It's just like there were so many times where like, again, we would get a couple of kills, and like the thing with like someone like Shotzi, if Shotzi pushes out and does this crazy ass play, it's only a good play if his other teams
don't die.
If his other teammates don't do something stupid as well. It's a whole team thing. So like, say if like, you know, Simp gets a kill, he pushes this way, but instead of someone blocking this, he goes here. Then all of a sudden it's like, well, now Simp looks like a fucking moron. You know, so it's like, it's a product of both, I'd say, is like getting people into advantageous positions to do what they obviously want to do and what we want to do, like when things are frying. But at the same time, all four of us have to be on the same page to do that. And sometimes like Abeezy will be the guy that actually has to block. You know what I mean? Because like he just spawned up last, and it's like, oh shit, he has to block. Chris, you go do your thing. I'm gonna hold you down. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to like kind of get into like an elite state of like hardpoint.
So my question,
which we can do. We've done it before in our team's career. It's just like so weird that, like, you know, we're just having like weird hiccups.
So my question to you, like with that is, and it's probably hard to like balance, but like, do you, because that's a lot of pressure on Shots, you know, on that team and Hook, like the way they play, but it worked super well. Like, do you think that's gonna be going forward? Like, what teams are trying to do is like.
Well, I feel like any good hardpoint team pressures people like that. To be honest, like I feel like even Seattle, Seattle's so like. Don't get me wrong. No, I know what you mean. Who can Shots are definitely the most rogue with that shit. I personally think the best way to do it, again, like there's, I mean, bro, we can talk off stream too one day. But like fucking there's so much shit like, you know, that you can go into it, because like I don't think our breaking's that good too. So everything we're talking about has a lot of stuff with our breaking that has nothing to do with going rogue. That actually has everything to do with going together. You know what I mean? And like obviously breaking shit like that sometimes, but regardless, like yeah, I think the putting pressure on teams and controlling map, I would say dating back to Black Ops fucking 2 is how you win. The better team that controls the map and like controls the spawns and manipulates the game into their favor is always going to win more. And I think OpTic did a very, very good job in Respawn during that, and they were getting their kills while doing it. And I think that's what happened, where with us, I think, again, we got our kills, and then when we tried to apply like some of the pressure, like we would do something. Yeah, do it. Like, again, I can't really break it down too much because of my job, but holy shit, yeah, like we're just making some issues.
It's hard to explain, Chris, but I think you know what I'm saying. Like when you're watching, it just seemed like they were getting away with like breaking 101. It's like what, or like something I just would never do, and they were getting away with it. And I was sitting there thinking back to like MW days. I'm just like, okay, well maybe this game just defies a little bit more logic than I thought it did.
Well, all saying, just to switch topics for a second, is they won that 9 hardpoint streak. We'll talk about more about OpTic in a sec, but they didn't get like over 200 points in any of the hardpoints they played against Toronto in the final, with the team that ended up winning this thing. So I want to actually pivot and talk about Toronto. Well, I think are a team that we all thought were pretty good, but have had the weird case of just like they've been getting to the weekend in tournaments, and then Saturday, Sunday have not been kind to them. Funny story about this event, people have probably seen the clip. Scrap, like on Major 2, came in Saturday morning, sat down on the couch with me in the morning. It was me and Gersh or whatever. We were shooting a breeze, and then they went 06 map count at Major 2, and I was like, oh. They obviously had a bad first series. The qualifier against Boston instantly made a roster change, and brought in Hixie for Standy. Went on a roll, came up to this event. Scrap refused to sit on our couch the whole weekend. He would come by, like put a headset, but he refused to sit on the couch.
I like that.
Came by, roasted me for my Call of Duty gameplay. And I said, well, don't get nervous on Saturdays for once. And I guess he took that at heart because they went on a really good run, beating a very good Boston team. It kind of nuzzled them in that series. But then from there, obviously beat your team, Chris, and then beat OpTic.
Yeah. Nervous on Saturday.
OpTic only win. Yeah. Well, we're just trying to have banter.
I know you talk shit to them. I'm saying, Scrap, people actually believe that. No, people.
Scrap just roast me, so I had to hit him with one. You know.
No, I trust me.
Shit, but yeah, I'm curious you guys' thoughts on Toronto. Finally, came good on. A lot of people thought this team was good for a while. They finally came in and won an event. Like, curious what you guys think about their squad.
I'll say with Toronto. So like, what you were just saying, we had a talk on this last episode, I think, before we left about like how people are saying they were nervous on Saturday, and there's actually people that believe that. And I think the topic exactly was like, is Toronto overrated, or like, are they onliners and all that stuff? And like, no, bro, they weren't getting nervous. Like, again, that team beat us. And granted, we made mistakes, but like, this is like my point to like why like playing the game correctly as a team and shit is like also very important. Bro, we outslayed them by like 35 kills in our series, and we lost. Yeah. 2 respawns, by the way. 2 respawns. And a search. The search, though, like if you outslay and you lose 2 searches, like obviously it's a little different. But we lost 2 respawns. And when we did that outslaying, and like, again, when they added Hixie, a lot of people were talking about how Hixie and Standy, and like Standy got a lot of kills. You have like a bunch of stuff, like people were obviously roasting that scenario, and then people are saying that they get nervous online and stuff, like, and they aren't a threat and all this shit. Like, bro, I feel like that team like proves again that like being on the same page as a team and making the right plays as a player and a team is like so much more important. Of course, there's both back and forth. There's context to both of it. You can't just if you don't get any kills, you can't win, obviously. But like, again, there's so much more to it than just like slaying down your opponent and going the right way. Like, there's so much to it. So like, I feel like adding Hixie and showing that, like, yeah, they played great. Like, they're on the same page, and I feel like that was the reason why they were showing up on Saturdays. When they would play a better team on land most of the time, they'd fall a little short. That wasn't because they were getting nervous. It's because, again, they probably weren't fully on the same page when they were playing with their old roster. Not 100% Standy's fault. I'm sure maybe this guy didn't agree with this guy, or Standy didn't agree. Like, you did. Like, now I feel like they looked much more confident. They probably were much more confident in their game plan, and then they executed it. And like, that's a big thing of like why that is so important. And again, like, even use Seattle's hard point too. Like, bro, Seattle's not a super crazy slaying heavy team. People always roast Lamar and Mac all the time, but they're one of the best hard point teams in this league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, bro, like,
well, they were the best.
That's exactly it. There is so much, like, Pred is a demon, and so, like, he does go crazy, but like, bro, there's so much more to it than that. So it's like, yeah, like, Toronto wasn't a team that got nervous on Saturday. I just think they finally got really confident on their game plan of like what they wanted to do. They executed it and they won. Like, and that's good for them. So like,
they shut the SMGs down in the finals. Like, Shotzi and Hook didn't really like do anything throughout the finals, and
I think a structured team like that, I think I would say Toronto right now, in my opinion, just like from watching them play from the outside in, they look structured. Where I think they have a plan of how they want to play. They have a plan of where they get kills, where they want to push, and like what they want to watch. There's not a lot of gaps in Toronto when you're playing against them, for the most part. And that is very hard to play against when you're having that reckless play style, right? What you were just saying. So that's the double-edged sword of what I was saying. So like, like a structured team like Toronto can shut stuff down like that, depending. So like, that's where it's like, again, the double edge, like what's better, or how do you find that happy medium of you need to take risks to win, because winners win. Like, winners take those risks, and like I'm sure you would just like agree with this, and like some people in Call of Duty history win tournaments because they're just like winners. They know when to make they know when they have to take that risk. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like they just know when to do it. And then there's some people that don't win and they're not winners because they never take that risk and they're fucking scared to. And like that is 100% a trait that like you kind of just like have. I feel like it's weird, or like maybe you learn throughout the like experience,
like intuition.
Like your instinct, like that instinct, like Crim's instinct is a good example. that motherfucker's instinct throughout his entire career was just right. Like he just knew when he had to make a crazy play and take over. So it's like you have to find that happy medium to like obviously play both, and I'm sure like they'll figure that out. But yeah, like I think Toronto is a very well structured team in the way they wanted to play, and they looked good. So like I feel like that's another reason to like tip on them. I think they played great. I was happy for them.
Would you say that they're the best control team in the game right now?
Yeah, they are. I don't think that. I mean, they have to be, right?
They're up there. If not the best, they have to be up there. I mean, they
were number one in map record and stuff, and they were undefeated.
Was it in control?
Finals, right? Yeah, in control. They were number one in control.
Bro, control. I was saying it earlier. Control is such an important game mode, dude. Because even when people talk about us, people still highlight our hard point. Bro, if we won our controls in the 2 series we lost, we could have won the series. Again, you'd like with OpTic, we would have lost both hard points and we would have had to Neslo them. That's never a fun way to win. But with Toronto, if we win the control on that first hard point and we go game 5 S&D, like again, we're giving ourselves that chance. Like that control game mode, being really good at control is huge, especially in best of 5s.
Yeah, it's so just like you have to win your map pick and then S&D. Like you try to become a great S&D team and then you scrim hardpoint every single day. So you're going to be solid at least have your map pick, and then you win control. You're winning every series. Basically.
Bro, control is huge. And when we were super, super dominant in Cold War, what was our control record in Cold War? It was something absurd.
Unbelievable.
But that's what I mean. Like, bro, that game mode is so underrated. And again, when you're playing it well, it saves you. It helps you be dominant. Like it's just a swing mode. So yeah, that control is huge. And
we need a new map, bro.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna go next. I really hope that we get some better control maps in the future. And like, but that's something that's out of our control. But
it's pretty crazy the impact that having like the maps that we have for control that it has on the league right now, especially in the way that it works, where it's like you just ban one, the other team picks it. Yeah, it's like, dude, we have to get rid of Fortress, bro.
Yeah, because you have a lot of there are a number of teams in the league right now that are either bad at Asilo or bad at Hotel, and then we're presented with either or opportunity in Fortress. If they're the team that gets to pick the map, they're picking Fortress, and we all know how horrible that map is. Like the crowd this weekend, and I tipped them, was getting mega into absolutely booing doing Fortress control on some of those round 4s, and people were just camping. So I really, really, really hope we got a 2-week break right now. And again, this shouldn't be on the teams, but since the league clearly isn't feeling the pressure to do something about it, I think people got to come together and figure out how to unscrew the situation, because it's making this game mode unfun to watch. When that map comes up. But go ahead.
Well, I feel like it's a 50-50, like or Fortress. Every other control is solid. Like Fortress literally is just like, brother.
Raising my hand here. Bro, no disrespect, Marky B. But bro, Marky B filled in and they won the fucking Fortress hardpoint. And now granted, the craziest part though, the one thing I will tip is they also won the offense, which is respectable. But but my point is like Marky B does not play the game as much as pros. Obviously he was a pro. Like I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just saying like that map, if that was Hotel and Marky B fills in, I really don't think
slammed.
That's seriously. I'm not even trying to be an ass. Like he just does not play the game nearly as much as all the pros. So like that map is just, again, like so 50-50 to the point where like you can be better at it. There are some teams that are a little bit better at it. There is definitely certain methods and like obviously getting into their art and finessing in their art. You can be a little bit more consistent, not enough to make it super competitive. But like, bro, on defense, when you spawn up, on offense, when you spawn up and you're like, yo, we have more ticks or we're tied in ticks. The only thing that we have to do is not die because we're out slaying them. And you all sit in your fucking base behind the gates.
That's so whack, bro.
That is the opposite of competitive.
Yeah.
Bro,
that's literally execution gears just sitting back and
spawn, dude. That is literally the definition of like you don't want to shoot at your opponent to win, and that takes all skill gap, shooting, any knowledge, bro. It is dumb. And on top of that too, like it's also hard to count kills sometimes. It's just the whole thing is just so stupid where like that doesn't promote the better team to win majority of the time. That's what we should be striving for in Call of Duty and the CDL, is that the better team that plays it better should win majority of the time. Obviously, where like that map is just so like fucking shit. I don't know. So it's just
adds another element to like the top teams, because when you get down to like the top 4 and you're trying to win a tournament, when it gets down to like the veto process and stuff, it's like, well, this team's fucking dominant at a Hotel. We feel pretty good about our Fortress and we're good at a Asilo. Well, they get to ban a Asilo. So now what the fuck do we do? Like, Like,
You
we don't
just
want to
take
play
it 50-50.
them hotel. Let's take our 50-50
Yeah,
in
no.
Fortress. But if there was like a good map, it's like, well, we feel like we're a better control team than them. We could just master this third map, have two solid ass maps, and this team that just somehow their play styles fit a CeeLo better. We don't ever have to play it. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's just like why it like limits limits the level of play that we're at.
I agree. We're about to get a new map tomorrow, right? Is it tomorrow?
Yo, imagine it's just way worse. It's like Dome MW3 spawn.
Well, it's called like some German World Expo, I think. Anyway, hopefully that's good. But if not, regardless, I think people need to come together and try as many different available maps as possible. And I would hope that we can find one that's better than
third
Fortress.
hardpoint, bro. Fuck it.
Well, then, and that's a conversation for another day. But I want to switch topics for a second because we got a lot to go through. But more on that later this week. I'm hoping we can. Again, it sucks that the teams might have to do the heavy lifting there, but I think that's what's going to need to happen.
Okay.
We were just talking about OpTic. Let's pivot and talk about them. They were the runners up in this tournament. Had a super interesting run. Got absolutely beat down by Benjamin Beans on day one of the tournament.
It was close. It was close.
That was a close match. No,
it was close. I'm obviously exaggerating for the LOLs, but they did get. I mean, Boston did 3-0 them. I think all three maps were really close to that.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But Ben fried in that series, and I think OpTic hit the like mega sort of regain after that. I think the first series coming out of that was the London series, and I think that was still a little sketchy. But they grind that one out in Game 5. We'll get to London in the Game 5s in a second. But then they started getting a roll. They beat Florida. They beat Seattle, obviously, after you guys. We didn't even talk about this after you guys beat Seattle Game 5 round 11, where Sim somehow got a magical hip-fired dead talent skill. I think Seattle's a little
godlike.
Which is crazy, one of the crazy skills I've ever seen. But Seattle kind of broke down after map 1 in that series, unfortunately, a little bit. It gets OpTic and then beat Boston again, and then beat you guys first. And then I think at that point they kind of ran out of momentum against a stronger across the board Toronto team. And I think when we get to the Toronto part of that series, and where I want to kind of start first is, as we talked about with Kyler and with Ant, like they play this aggressive I'm gonna even call it like TikTok style Call of Duty or buzzing in the background.
Dude, come on, bro.
My dryer is finishing up. But
wait, did you just call it TikTok Call of Duty?
Yeah, I'm calling it TikTok Call of Duty.
You're a hater, dude.
No, I'm not a hater. I'm just saying it's a funny thing to say. I'm just trying to, but they won that 9 hardpoint streak. And then I think they came into the Toronto series and started making mistakes. And I thought the swing map in that series was a hotel S&D because even though they lost 2 hardpoints at that point, they grind out that hotel control. It's the best control team in the game. But they had played really good in the Fortress Search against Toronto. But they were up like 4-1 in the hotel S&D, right?
Yeah, they got 3-piece by Scrappy and it was over.
They got 3-piece by Scrap, and then Ant Child at the back of one round when I think he assumed there was one guy there. It was 3, and then there was that 1v1 with Dan Gosi where Dan Child, he ran a Hexy, and Hexy was lying down in the spot where people normally stand, and they kind of tossed that map, and then they did kind of make the control steal a little bit mixy, but end up losing in 5. So overall, you guys' curious thoughts on OpTic this weekend? Anything they can keep up this style of play? And what are your thoughts on this team now that you've seen a bunch? I'm gonna mute my mic because keeps going off.
You're good. And you want to go first or me?
You can go.
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, I think OpTic was still relatively new. Obviously, I know they had a stage online, but it's kind of different when you go to LAN and you try and like start getting like the swing of things, the confidence of stuff, and just like to follow your flow. I mean, I think they play a very crazy style, like you were talking about, where it could be a double-edged sword sometimes. And I think obviously they're going to continue to figure out the best thing that works for them to like be a little bit consistent. Because again, they started off the tournament a little rocky, then they obviously started frying, and then like towards the end, again, like their hard points looked a little rocky and stuff. And like I'm sure they have to figure out like little things here and there. But overall, again, I think they played well. I think they played like they found the maps that were working for them really well. Like their hard points, they were going Hydro and Fortress a lot, and like that's also pretty good map set versus a lot of teams in hardpoint that really helps you. Where if like a lot of people like don't love Hydro because of the water shit, and then Fortress is against them specifically. They just have a very good Fortress team, right? Between the players on their team,
well, it makes it hard because they got good cheese maps that people don't like. So it's like, fuck,
well, I don't think Fortress is as much of a cheese map. I know people think that. I don't hate on Fortress hardpoint as much as I hate on it in the other modes.
True,
but like Hydro again, but see. as weird as this is gonna sound, I'm not like the Call of Duty like lover in me hates Hydro because again, like sometimes you just can't watch routes because of the water. It's just like you can only like again, like it does.
But you can punish people.
But no, but I was gonna say, but that map, and this again, I want my team to we're gonna work on that map too. But like that map, you can punish people terribly if you do it the right way, and when you get good at teams that maps that teams aren't good at, that's genius, right? And like they're confident on maps that a lot of teams aren't comfortable on, and you're able to do that. And like with that being said, like they played it very well. So like OpTic played those maps great, more like Hydro in the sense of like getting comfortable. I think Fortresses, again, you can be consistent on Fortress, and I think they found their flow on that. But I think they played really well. They hit that swing of momentum. They started out a little shaky. They found their flow. Obviously, they got to the finals and they didn't play the best. I don't think they were like complete enough right away to like just dominate a final yet because they're still a new team and they have again it's still like a long season. They still probably have some shit to work on. But I think that was a really promising run, and I think that helped them, get that belief of like, yo, we fucking got this 100%. Like they're gonna make a run with that. So like, I don't know. I think it was good for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your? Go ahead.
I agree with a lot of what Chris was just saying. Mm-hmm. My take is that like they figured out a lot of their maps. Obviously, it's maps a lot of teams don't like to play as well. And then with Fortress, they were just frying. Like everything they were doing, it's like they could do no wrong. Like the team is ultra talented. I think with this squad, like in the midst of the tournament, like they started to gain more confidence, which is something they never had the opportunity to get because they literally started off by getting 3-0'd when they made this roster. There's like so much drama, right? So like once they got confidence and they felt like kind of justified in their team and that they were like capable, like they rode that momentum. So that's why I thought Hook and Shotzi started to play so good. And also there's like this weird thing with Hook and Shotzi where like they're just so good together. Especially when like they're free to do whatever they want. But like with this team, your second question was like, can they continue to do it? I'll probably call it a hater for this. I think they can. They absolutely can. But like, I think it's going to be hard if they start to have like have these series where things aren't working out for them and they lose a couple of games when they try to like figure out how to fix things. Cause it's hard, bro, without a coaching staff and stuff like that. I think they might then start to struggle if they try to start playing more structured as time goes on. Cause it looked like they kind of just were like, all right, yo, things aren't working our first couple of matches. Like, let's go out here and do our thing and just fry. And they did that. They just went out and just started frying. Cause like I've never seen a turnaround like that from the London series to the next like 4 series in a row.
Oh, they looked shaky. They looked like again, but I feel like in that London series they didn't look like super confident either. Like just like the way
they didn't.
Yeah. So like, and also there's a tweet I want to bring up in a second, but yeah, like I feel like they looked like a little weird, but then I feel like they finally found like that pace where like those two can really feel like play their game and figure it out, and they looked really good. But yeah, no.
Also, let me state this before I get called a hater.
Yeah.
Like it's like really hard for any team to do what I'm saying. Like where
not
keep that up. You know what I mean? And then like anytime a team has a tournament like this where it's that good, once you start to have issues because it's inevitable, it's like. The great teams get over it and then they figure it out and they get another top 3 placing and then they get first. You know what I mean? Like the tournament after that. Kind of like, I don't know, kind of like how Toronto did it a little bit. Like they did make a change, but like Toronto, struggle a little bit, and then they win. You know what I mean? So
Seattle's a good example too. Like Seattle struggled hella, and then they came back.
Yeah. I'll say for go ahead.
The final thing is just like, so that's my biggest thing going forward with OpTic is like, it was a great tournament. Obviously there's some caveats like home crowd and stuff, but they did look super good. The subs are on point. I just when they inevitably when they face some adversity, how will they when they try to structure themselves a little bit and work on things? Because like we saw in the Toronto series, there are some things they have to work on. Will they be able to keep up that pace of play while also trying to play a little bit more structured to win a championship? That's my like overarching take.
So I think too easy. I'm gonna go first, Chris, if you don't mind, and I'll ask your thoughts on it. I think there are 2 obvious things that they need to work on as a team. One is they're still not that good at control, even though they played great this weekend. It wasn't off the back of their control play, and for whatever reason with this team, it's not clicking through different rosters. So that's definitely a focus point. I thought their search was hit or miss almost this entire stage. And I think to the point of structure, I think the thing they need to work on is search is just like with Thieves is they get in these 4v3s and they make and they get that opener blood and they don't play the right way around that blood and they overheat. They make the wrong decisions. In some 4v4 rounds I watched, they really love to just like blind flank people. But the problem with all of that is they're doing that off of like no information. And what ends up happening a lot, and we saw it in like it was around 11 on Steel at some point in the weekend. Ant, who was on the flank, ended up being the first one to peak instead of the other way around. So I think there's some rules they can put in place around both those game modes that will help, because I don't really think they should really change much in their hardpoint game mode. I think it's always going to come down to if Ant and Kyler
the more
going.
Rules, the worse they're going to get, Ben.
I wouldn't touch the hardpoint on that stuff. There's always probably some situationals and some thought process they just want to do on the edge stuff. But I think on the control and the S&D are areas they can really, really improve to be more consistent in their results. And Chris, I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, yeah. Like in the sense of like what you're saying, like they obviously can be more consistent in areas of their game. They didn't obviously they didn't even win. They got second. Then of course they can probably get better in some stuff. Even like when we won, I said the same thing about my team. But I guess like to Ant, what you were saying, like Ben, like are you just saying like, you know, as the year goes on, are you just more skeptical if like they get through some of the adversity that like you kind of inevitably face like throughout every team, no matter how good you are, eventually you're gonna like.
Well, what I'm saying is their play style, Chris, is like pretty hard to keep up over a season, and it's like
I know
what
you mean.
If it doesn't work, so at some point it doesn't work, and you try to fix it, things could go catastrophic. Yeah,
no, things could go wrong. I think again, I know from what I saw on Twitch chats and stuff. I don't know how accurate this is. I'm pretty sure, and I think they've talked about it. They play pretty well in scrims, which is probably like a good sign for them, you know, like whatever they're doing. And I'm sure like those players know enough in the sense where like, yeah, like you can't just keep up like you know, players just dropping 1 point fucking threes. And obviously that's like, you have to find like a more of a higher floor of consistency. So like when you are on, you know, say you show up on a Sunday and you're getting shit on, like you can still win. Cause like there are, you know, that's where you really want to get. So, like obviously, that's the goal, of course. I just think it really depends on how those players are in practice and like their culture. I know they don't have like too much of a coaching staff, but I've never really worked with any of those guys, and the point is that, like, where I just know how they approach it. I'm sure like you would think like, yeah, that's like kind of probably what they're trying to focus on. I see where you're coming from with that. So like, yeah, they definitely have to find like a medium to obviously like find like more of that consistency. So like there's not like the super ups and super downs, but I personally think right now they have plenty of time and they have the confidence to figure stuff like that out. Like obviously that's what I mean. Like I think they're good, and I think they're in a really good spot with a lot of confidence to go into Major 4 with that. Of course, yeah, every team does that. Even like my own team has faced shit like where it's like all of a sudden like, you know, we're not frying and we're getting Cheeto shit on in scrims. It's like, yo, we have to find something to do better. But that's like the whole point of practice. So like if they've been playing well in practice, like they've said, I think that's like, I wouldn't be super worried right now. Of course, that could be worrisome in the future, but that's, you can't really tell until like you kind of let that roll out. But I know where you're going with that.
Yep. Let's move on from OpTic. We just have a lot of teams to cover, chat. So we can get questions at the end, but I want to make sure we cover most of the teams. I'm just trying to think of the order we should do next. Let's talk about Boston. They got 4th. They look good coming. Yeah,
wait,
go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, I wanted to bring up this tweet really quick. Really quick. CDL Scrimtel just tweeted this, so I'm bringing it up. That London are looking to replace PaulEhx, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's a good move.
I have no idea if that's true. I figured I'd talk about it really quick just since it's on the, you know, on here. So yeah,
I don't think Paul's bad. I think that's a good move though. For the vibes of the squad, like they gotta have a change, bro.
My thing with them is like, didn't they like already get rid of him, but then brought him back and then got rid of him again? I don't follow them super like too much, but like there's got to be some fucking weird thing going on where like either someone on the team don't like him very like I don't know what the hell's happening, but I feel like they keep bringing him back and then like figure it the fuck out type of thing. Like I don't know, something's weird.
I think with Paul, there could be some behind the scenes stuff. I just think naturally with this team right now, we could just kind of talk about London in general. Like they had a very weird stage. They end up playing like, I'm not listing the teams that they played in this qualifier. They played a lot of good teams. They played Boston, FaZe, LAG, Seattle, Toronto, and OpTic over the course of qualifiers and then the major.
They tested everybody too.
They pretty much played 5 of the top 6, and outside the FaZe series, which was a 3-0 smoke show, I just checked. Every series went to either 4 or 5 games.
Well, Ben,
like all of them went to 5 except for the series against Seattle where they got 3-1. So just to finish for a second, like I think the Paul thing is this. Here's if you agree, Ant. I think they moved Nasty to an AR. He looks good. Obviously, it looks like Asim's starting to play a little bit more consistent. Maddie's been good. I think they just need somebody who's more of a natural second sub, and I don't think Paul's a natural second sub. Curious your thoughts on that.
I 100% agree. That's literally all that needs to be said. It's like Paul's like fine, good. He's a good player. Nasty played really good with an AR, so it's like we got a W there, and it's like, well, if we want to improve, we can make a change and grab a true sub, right? And it's not like a big knock to Paul. It's just he's not a natural SMG, so it's tough.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how they, like Chris said, they did drop him and like pick him back up like twice now.
No,
actually,
yeah, there's some weird shit. Drew, that
something going on.
Something's going on because that whole situation makes no fucking sense. Like in that sense, I'm not talking about. Sorry, Bear just fucking threw up a little bit. She's fine now. I don't know. Fucking my hairball. But fucking yeah, no, dude, like 100%. Like the AR thing that you guys are talking about. I had the headset on, so I heard you guys. Like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I think they had a dub there, getting Nasty to play well, but I just feel like there's something more with it in the sense like he's on the team, off the team. He's not on the team for 5 days, back on the team. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's some shit going on that like we don't know that just sounds fucking weird. I don't know. So
has to be, dude.
Yeah. I would say in particular, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, Paul's been inconsistent with his results and just his slaying in general this year. And I think if you look at the stats, I think that would back that up. And I think this is a team now that probably needs to be a little bit more disciplined because they're kind of sitting last in points, I think. And so they got to get it going if they want to make champs. It's not over.
Oh yeah, they're 30 points, right?
They have 50, I think, in total this season.
Or whatever it is. I don't remember what it's at.
Which if they have two, so I think Doug Lieb tweeted 195 might be the cut. Like if they have two really good events, like two really good events, they could still make champs. So they got to get it going, and I assume that's what this is. It's like, okay, we're not going to blow up our team. If this is true, obviously, and Ronnie's fairly reliable when it comes to most of his information, I would not be surprised that they're going to try someone else in that spot. And again, they just didn't. They lost a lot of tough game fives. They grind out a lot of series. They're like 3-6 in game fives this year. A couple of tweaks in the S&D, and I think they'll
real quick,
really
not to derail. Do you know what contracts like Asim, like is he on a 2-year or 1 year? Or, like,
so I can tell you how the Toronto contracts work. The way that as far as I was told this by a former player on the team.
I'm saying Asim, not Toronto.
No, I'm saying Asim is probably like this too. I'm saying London does all their deals pretty much the same. This is what this former player told me, which basically they offer every team like a pretty okay year one. It's usually gonna be not around league average, it's probably slightly below. But they have sort of a like big second year on their deal. And then basically usually the second year they don't pick up. So essentially they start signing people to like 1 year
like
contract.
A false promise.
Yeah, it's kind of
what?
Horrible.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
It's kind of fugazi, honestly. So they basically just string people along. So I think
like,
in the case of Asim,
you can get this and they never pick it up. Like what?
They give themselves. It's weird. They're giving their team. It's the weirdest thing because they're basically the team is giving itself its own poison pill contract.
But I asked that because if I'm London, and we don't have a chance to really make it into champs, like I might look to just trade Asim or sell him to a team for money because there's a lot of teams who would probably be interested in him.
He would help a lot of teams, in my opinion.
He would help a lot of teams, right? So it's like, let's get ahead and get ready for this offseason coming up. Like these are things that some of these orgs need to start doing a little bit earlier in the season, and like that's a huge opportunity for them. I don't know. That's just something I thought about. I don't know if he was on a 2-year, if he was done at the end of this year. Because if he's done at the end of this year, they haven't, like, he's probably going to go somewhere. He's had a stellar year.
I would assume he's on a 2-year deal, and they may not pick it up in the second year. And
because brother, they're not making champs. Like it's over. Like they have 50 points. They're not making unless they win an event. They're not making it.
Yeah, unless they make a change that completely changes around where they become a dominant team, it's going to be very hard to make champs.
Yeah,
they can still do it, but.
And a potential team, like if we talk about, I want to pivot back to Boston for a sec. Like a potential team, like a Boston could be a good one for Asim. Reese obviously wasn't playing good online in the series against OpTic. He actually was the only one that was positive. They all got tucked against OpTic. And this has been kind of the issue with Boston, man. Like they at home online, these guys play their system and they look good. They match up well against everyone. They look like, okay, this is going to be one of the top teams going to event. And look, they've gotten some good placings, but unfortunately at the moment, the third place that they got at Major 2 last year is still the best placing for this team overall.
I disagree.
I would say that, well, let me just finish my point. I can ask you, like, this year they haven't played that bad. They've had good-ish placings compared to the field, but they're not yet hitting the target of making a grand final. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on the Boston Breach.
I don't know if Chris will agree, but I'm pretty sure he will, bro. Dude, you know how hard it is to win an event, Ben? I don't think they have many issues.
Bro, we've had one.
They're just a COD team.
We've had half the league make a grand final. I'm pretty sure this year, correct?
I understand that, but like, they're going up against these storied organizations that have been in since the beginning, that have the top tier veteran talent world champs like on their team. They don't have that, so it's like Boston Breach, all things considered, is doing phenomenal. And then when you look at this move, they had a guy on their bench that they just moved to the starting roster who looks like he could be a potential superstar down the line. I think they're doing absolutely fantastic. I don't agree with the take that like Boston is good online and then completely flops online. They've had flop tournaments, but so has everybody, right? So I was really
just to be fair, I kind of agree with you. I wanted to present the field and ask your thoughts on it because, and like, I agree, it is really hard to win now. We've had 10-ish events now over the last 2 years. We've only had one repeat winner. We had probably I'm just trying to count in my head. Of those 10 events, we probably had 8 different winners.
Yeah, sure.
So a majority of the league has won an event in the last 2 years. And I think Boston's playing great this year. They're clearly going to make champs.
If they would have got smoked like round 1 or 2 of this tournament, I would agree with what you're saying. But they had a pretty good run.
What do you think? What do you think they need to improve? There's a question about you. Like, what at this point now that we know Boston's good at pretty much every game mode. They've now brought Ben in. Ben's been good for the most part. What do you think they need to do now to get over the hump and make a grand final?
Win round 11 versus Toronto, and they're like in a really good spot. It just comes down to moments, bro. I'm curious Chris's take though.
Oh fuck! I mean, yeah, that helps. Yeah, like winning the round.
Same for Seattle, I guess. But
I mean, to be fair to Nameless's point, like as hard, like it is very hard to win an event. It's incredibly hard, and there's so much competition. There's so many world champion teams. Storied organizations. Everything that you said is like fair, like 100%. And like what I was saying, like winners win kind of thing. Like there's a lot of players on those top teams that just do crazy shit when they shouldn't, and all of a sudden they like bail themselves out, and like that's a big thing too. Like like that round 11, like bro, when a BZ 2v1 in the finals or Thieves, like when he got that crazy 2v1 on the Asilo and won us the fucking game, like those are the plays that make you to the finals. Those are the plays that win you the finals. That's literally what I said to him. Like that's like those are 2v1s that win you tournaments. Like bro, like that is shit that like you never get to the final or win a final with ease. And I feel like the one unfair. So I get Boston's not playing for sixth, like and like what you're saying, like I don't think Boston's doing that bad. I'm on your side. Like I don't think Boston's a terrible team. Sure, they might look a little bit better online. I can't speak to this 100% with the EQ stuff, and if they're all using EQ, like technically that could probably hurt them. I don't know if that's even 100% true. Like, that's obviously I don't play the game, but I think they're doing well, and I think they fall short here and there. I think them beating OpTic, to me, against the OpTic crowd at their home major, even though that was a close series, they 3-0, but like the maps were close or whatever. Like I think, again, like they still have a very young team who, going back to your point, Ant, has a very double-edged sword kind of gameplay. Vivid and Nero don't stop moving, right? Like, think about it. Those two are both very fast-paced, like, they go. And, like, that could be amazing, and it also can be very hard to play with, obviously, if, you're on your back foot, you're not playing that well, like, obviously things aren't going your favor. So, like, they play well, like online, and they look pretty good, but like people acted like they look like unfucking beatable online, and then all of a sudden they show up to LAN and they just like flop. Like I don't know. I feel like they're doing pretty well right now with like the roster that they have, and like they're just falling short here and there. I wouldn't be like super critical on the fact that like like I don't know. I feel like Boston's a good team. I still think they can continuously like get some more experience under their belt and just get more comfortable in some of the scenarios that could help them. Again, like some of those round 11s and stuff, I do think experience is like really important in those situations because it helps. It's not always the case, but like Yeah, I don't think it's like I don't think they're that terrible of a
Like
team.
Chris,
Like,
think about it like this, bro. Like the last 2 majors for Breach.
mm-hmm.
Like from major 2, they like were really good online, right?
Yeah.
And like they went to LAN, dude. They lost to you guys in round 1,
Yeah.
and they beat Seattle 3-1. And they beat Guerrillas 3-0, and then they lost to OpTic 3-0.
That's what I mean,
So
and like it's not
and
and
teams.
And that 3-0, if I remember correctly, wasn't like a beating. No, didn't they choke the shit out of the first map like bad?
They choked all 3 maps.
That's yeah. So
remember?
Oh yeah.
It was a 2-point hydro, a 6-4 where they got 1v3'd, and then it was that a CeeLo control that they absolutely blew where where basically they outslayed them. Yeah.
Well, that's my thing. So it's like obviously that sucks, and yes, they are falling short. I understand the criticism of it. But it's not like there's some veteran rostered team that's falling short, getting 6th place over and over again. You know, like they're still a pretty like, you know, like they don't have like, you know, again, multiple world champions or like this, you know, like this like crazy veteran. Like I do think Beans adds a lot of energy into their team too. I actually like I think his addition was pretty good. I thought like, you know, again, I think he's got a lot of potential. But yeah, like I feel like the more experience they get and the more they keep working at it, like I still think they're a threat. Like, you know, like so I feel
they're the Miami Dolphins, bro.
I feel like I feel like they could still be very good. I wouldn't be going crazy. I mean, maybe yeah, like people are saying like maybe Vivid and Asim and shit, like you do something like that. But like I don't think like I feel like people like fans and like I don't think they're as terrible as people make them out to be. Like I don't know.
And what is your if you're Boston, you want to win, obviously, but like realistically, if you're the GM of that team, right? You can kind of take yourself out of that picture. Like, what's your goals next 3 events, 2 majors and champs?
Well, I think that Boston is in a pretty good spot because they're really good online. Like they've had 2 back-to-back amazing online splits, so you're not in a bad spot there. I think you keep the team, bro. I think you just rock out with this roster, like, and just trust them. Like, they could have very well made it to the finals of this event. Like, even when we watched the last matches they had, bro, they could have won that. Was the versus OpTic on that Asilo? They could have won that control. Like, Nero was making plays. It came down to the wire. I think you just trust them and just like wait for them to develop.
But what's your goal though? Like what's a good placing in champs and what's a good best highest placing you're going for next 2 events?
Well, I mean, I think right now, if I'm Boston, I'm looking at us and I'm like, all right, our floor should be top 4 right now. Like our goal is to win an event. They're a team right now that is in a position to win an event, absolutely, and that's what they should be focused on. And it's like, well, what do we need to work on? Well, they're pretty solid at all the game modes. It's just in these crunch time, making plays, like learning from other teams, game planning accordingly. Like it's like small things, like when you get into the end of a tournament versus the top teams, like where can I get an edge versus FaZe? Like what do they do? Where can I get an edge versus Toronto? Where did they beat us last time? Like these are things now that they actually have experience in later in these tournaments that these other players that they're going up against have had experience in for a long time, right? So I think Boston are in a good spot.
Yeah, I agree. I obviously, if you're asking me to, like, yeah, your goal is to obviously win. You want to win everything you go to. No, I don't think there's any team here that just wants to lose or like not try to compete. But at the same time, like having a dramatic, rash decision every single time something doesn't go your way is also not the like recipe for success too. You know what I mean? And like that's where I'm getting at with this Boston team. Like this Boston team, if you have it in scrims and you have it online, granted the EQ stuff is a little sketchy. I'll disclaim that. Usually outside this year is a little weird with that, so I'll definitely disclaim that. But like everything else, like you usually have it in you, and it's in you and you can do it. And they are falling short sometimes, like really, really close where they're choking those like little things and like they're getting there, but they have it there. And when they go to an event at the end of the day, like they can very easily contend. Like, and I think that's, as a GM, not something to make some crazy rash decision about yet. Obviously, you keep a close eye on, the players and all that stuff. I think right now the only way you would make some crazy decision like that, if like literally one of them behind the scenes is just like, literally getting nervous and you could see it and he's, like he just, I can't handle the pressure, or like
superstar,
or you can get someone that's just like right now a no brainer. And like you see it and you let them develop more and then you keep a close eye on it. And I think you have a good core, then you try and figure it out from there. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're not in like this horrible spot that a lot of people put them out to be. And I think that's fine. So like I think they slowly keep trying to perfect themselves and see. Like, there's no reason to make a rash decision and just be like, oh, we got to drop this guy for this guy. Like,
it just comes down to what you define. Like, because this has been a project, right? Like, they were the last team to pick up a roster last year because they obviously got the spot.
Yeah.
They grind out some good results last year. Replaced TJ with Big Wake. Now replaced Zin with Beans. This is probably the best roster they've had.
It is the best roster they've had. Yes.
Yeah, their management's doing good, Ben.
Yeah, they're running this project well. It's just a question of like realistically, because it's hard to get top 4 at every event. Like, we're going to talk about Seattle, New York, LA Thieves, who are all good teams who managed to not get top 4 at this event.
Exactly.
Like, it's going to be really hard to get top 4 at events. My question, though, just to you both, is like, what's their window for being like the like what I call Sunday regulars, like being like winning chips type team. I don't know if they're there yet, but maybe with a little more experience, maybe by the end of the year, they might surprise some people.
I mean, they're on the same level as like New York for sure. Like, they're better than New York right now. But like,
yeah, let's talk about New York. I'm curious your thoughts first, Sam. What do you think the issue is with New York? Because they came to this event, and they can't. There's no travel issue because they live in Texas, so you can't use that one. They've been super up and down this whole qualifier stage, either 3-0ing good teams, getting 3-0'd by good teams, and they pull up to this major. Obviously, they lost first series to the team that eventually won, but a surprise loss to Florida knocked them out of the tournament dead last. What do you think their issue is?
If I remember correctly, I went and I looked at their hard point, and it was like 8 hard points in a row that the differential was like sub 30 points, like prior to the tournament start, which was just ridiculous. They were dominant at hard point, and they're not anymore. So it's like, I think their map pool they need to expand on. I don't think that team should break up at all. I think they should just keep working on things. But they were ahead in the beginning, and their respawn was super good. I think teams just kind of like figured a lot of stuff out, figured out their map pools, and they're not like a dominant search team. So naturally they're struggling versus like those squads. And then also you could tell they put in a ton of work to their S&D throughout this stage, and online was translating to a lot of success. And then as you guys know, well, maybe not Chris because his team is dominant in S&D, but a lot of teams like on S&D on LAN can sometimes be a little bit different. And
a lot different, yeah.
Just because, it can be a lot different. You can't make plays like people can make more plays with the sound and stuff. So I'm not giving them an excuse. I'm just saying that like it's harder to be as consistent on LAN and search and destroy, which is why what FaZe did is so tippable. So I think it's just like their hard point, bro. Like if that team's not winning their HPs, look at their roster, Ben. They're not gonna do much.
They're not a good search. They're not a great search team on paper. And the problem they're running into is if you're losing that first map, not a great search team. You're gonna lose the second map, and it's very hard to come back 0-2. We haven't seen remember like in the beginning of the year, the amount of crazy reverse sweeps we saw. I don't think we've seen many reverse sweeps at all in the last 2 majors. Teams are doing a good job closing down the control, and I think that's sort of New York's point. If they can clean up the hard point, I thought they looked. The weird thing is they actually looked like they turned a corner in S&D in the beginning of this qualifier stage. I remember they beat ROKKR. They actually Neslowed ROKKR in the first series of qualifiers. I think they beat Florida in search. And since then, I think they're only won. I'm gonna check right now. They only won 1 S&D. I think since then they won 2. They beat OpTic and Florida online. They didn't win a single search at the major. So need to continue working on that as well as and they were just sort of 500 control, and I think they will round back. But it speaks to the
their
bigger
dominant
point.
Maps aren't dominant anymore. Like they were locking up. Remember they were locking up hotel, hardpoint, and control.
That's and Fortress.
Like that's not a lock for them anymore. So it's like, they just gotta figure out like where they're comfortable.
Yeah, I was gonna say you also have to remember too. Like, I'm not like disrespecting them when I say this, but like Major 1 is still very new into the game. It's easier to lock down maps in Major 1 because you could just be ahead. You can literally just be ahead of Major 1. You know
literally.
Where like Major 2, Major 3, now Major 4, obviously going to Major 5 and then Champs, like you don't just lock down maps as easily because teams are getting better and better, and they're wide. Again, when you lock down a map, what do you think everyone else does? They go see why you're locking it down. Exactly. So like so it's like they're gonna learn and get better and figure out how to counter you and get better and add their own spin. Like it's obviously you're just gonna keep progressing. So it's just like right now, I think the Major 1 they looked really good. They were ahead. They're a hardworking team. I still think they are. And then they obviously started slowing down in S&D, and they haven't translated that S&D to LAN very well. But again, like they just have to find like that consistency in obviously both. And what you said, you can't just pour everything in S&D and forget about respawn either, because then you have to start winning. Like you just have to keep trying to figure it out. And I also do think again, like they play a very aggressive play style. Like that team in general, I think Kismet, Hydra, and Priesta are all very, very aggressive. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's with that thing, it's very good. But then you also have to try and find that medium. And then again, if your search is struggling, it's always going to be very hard. Even if you start a series out 1-0, and then you again lose the next 2, you're down 2-1. You know, so it's just there's so much to them that they have to obviously figure it out. But I think right now, like, teams caught up to them a little bit, and then like they tried to like catch back up, and now they're just kind of in like that middle ground. I still think they're fine though. I wouldn't be panicking. I just think they have to like obviously try and put everything a little bit more together for them to just do that. But yeah, I was surprised when they lost to Florida, but at the same time, that Florida team has a lot more promise, and they had more time to practice. You know, like as every day goes by. So I think too, like that Florida team's not the Florida team we saw, you know, week 1. But still, yeah. I wouldn't panic too much with them, but yeah, no, obviously it's definitely frustrating. I think the biggest thing for them is they have to figure out how to make search work on LAN, because if they don't, then it's gonna be hard. Yeah.
And they've had some like pretty bad losses, like the last like couple of games they've had. It just hasn't been great for the New York camp. It happens sometimes, but like I don't think it's like panic button time yet. We'll see how they do in this next split.
Yeah, they do. I don't want to voice correct there, but they do. I would say it's not panic time, but they do. You don't want to be like in a position where you're going into major 5 and it's like, well, we're 6 or 7 seed right now.
Yeah.
And you get X number of points to lock it in. Like they're one good event away from having their champ spot done, and then you can just kind of do what you want to do.
They
major
have a
5.
hard schedule, by the way, bro.
Wow. Yeah, let me take a look. Oh, so they're scheduled for major. Or go ahead, Annie, if you want to read it.
I could just tell you. I'll just tell you the good teams they have. They start things off immediately with Atlanta FaZe, so that's tough. Then they have right after that Minnesota ROKKR, not that bad. Then they have OpTic Texas, right? And then after that they have Royal Ravens, who knows? Like, I mean, that's literally a toss up to me.
Ravens are the Ravens are never a gimme either. Never. Yeah.
And then they have Boston Breach is the last match, as we know. I didn't say that they're bad on LAN, but they definitely do have a buff online. So like, that's a hard schedule.
And I think the schedule you're looking at, I don't think that's the order that's online right now. Let's say now change.
I'm literally looking at the schedule on like
on the website.
Order. Yeah, on their website. Yeah,
because they're playing Thieves first right now on the website.
Are you looking at Major 5, brother? I'm looking at Major 4. I'm on it.
No, I'm looking at Major 4 right now. It says Thieves versus London, Friday, March 31st.
What? We're talking about New York, Ben. Are you faded?
Oh, I'm faded. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm so fucking faded. My bad, dude. Oh my god. What? Yeah, they are playing FaZe first. Jesus Christ.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure we. I'm pretty sure we play them, but like then you were.
Oh my god, that's so embarrassing on my end. Jesus Christ, dude.
It's all good, brother.
Okay.
Regain.
No, but that's a hard. That's a hard schedule though. Like
they're a hard team to talk about, bro, because it's just like they gotta fix everything.
Yeah, they just have to come collectively together, or they have to like tighten up in all aspects. Yeah. They have it in them to be very good. We know that. You know, like they can obviously contend when they're playing well, but like it's what we were saying earlier, Ant. I feel like again, hiring that floor is easier said than done. No shit. Yeah, but like their floor is low, their ceiling is high, and that's a great thing to have when you're flowing, right? But when you're not flowing, it's not a fun thing to have. So again, you want to hire your floor. And that's like, I think the biggest thing that you always want to do to like try and find that like balance between your team, where like, if you're showing up one day and say Priest is not frying or Hydra's not frying, or it's like, what do we do? Right? Like, how could we still win? So it's Chris? Like,
I'm not in their camp, so I can only make assumptions, but I bet you, I can assume that it was one of these things where it's like they won Major 1, they look super fucking good, and then they like had the excuse at Major 2 of like kind of, you know, like the travel stuff. And then they also looked at like their split performance, like, all right, we got to fix our S&D. That was bullshit. You know, we won Major 1. We're still hella good. We just got screwed and our search is bad. And they focused on their search and everything else fell off. So now like, it's like almost like what they probably should have been feeling after Major 2, they're probably feeling now. It's like, yo, we're actually not that squad no more. Like we have to.
Yeah, like we have to tighten the fuck up. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sometimes it just needs
they don't have any now.
Well, I think another team now. I want to just switch topics.
Go for it.
I don't want us to run super long, super long, but we threw in a little lightning round. Another team that I think had a particularly unknown performance for them is LA Thieves, who pulled us the major. Obviously, Chris, your team dismantled them. Austin flipped them off from the other side of the stage, which was pretty funny.
I did see that.
And then they 3-0'd Minnesota, and we'll get to Minnesota in a bit. But just like with New York losing to Florida, a surprise loss for Thieves to try and get top 6. They finished top 8, losing to Vegas, and it didn't go game 5 even. It was actually in 4, and Vegas took 2 hard points in S&D against Thieves. So curious what you guys think the issues with Thieves are with following up their major run or up performance from Major 2. They get top 8 at this event.
I mean, who did they lose to in Major 2 to go to the losers? OpTic?
Yeah, they lost OpTic.
Okay. I was gonna say, I feel like if you just go to losers right away, obviously OpTic and us are both matches where you can just very easily lose. Yeah, like you can just play a really good team and you can just find yourself losing the match, like it happens. But like once you're in losers, bro, there's just no room for error at all. And like sometimes you just don't make a miraculous losers bracket 1 run all the way to the final. Like that just happens. I mean, OpTic was a map away from London. Did you say like it's just gonna happen?
They also did break down map 1 pretty bad against Vegas, though.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. I didn't get to watch that live. I went back and saw it. That was crazy. But
bro, that was insane, dude.
I don't know. It could be just a weird thing where like after they lost to us, like maybe they were just like pissed off about like that, and like they just didn't play like you played like their best. Like I thought Thieves going into the event looked pretty solid, but they did also lose to Vegas online 3-1. Did they not?
Yeah, I was about to say. I think Vegas is just a bad.
Yeah, no,
for Thieves.
it could very well just be like like Vegas is also. First of all, Vegas is not as bad as people think. First of all,
they're pretty good.
Yeah, and then second of all, like they also played a team that had their number online as well and played pretty good against them. So like, I think they found themselves in losers. They lost to a good team, which sucks. Obviously, you don't want to lose those matches, and you want to play those matches as competitive as you can and do the whole thing. But then they played a team that had their number. Like, I don't know. I think they just need to. I mean, their hard point seems usually. I know they lost some in the losers bracket, but like their hard point seems to be pretty decent. Whatever, right? That they play their hard points well enough for the most part. Their search seems to be struggling, and like obviously, depending on how their control is playing out, like I don't know. I think
back
like
to what you're saying, Chris. You know how earlier you said like you got to win your map picks?
Yeah.
Like at the top level? Bro, it's the same thing with this series 100%. Right here when they play them. Dude, Vegas, people might not realize this, but Vegas, since literally scrims in day 1 have been super good at Embassy Hardpoint. Like that's literally their map.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're also have been pretty solid at Mercado. So now like those are their 2 maps is like we're good at Mercado and Embassy. Like, and they're just like an okay like hardpoint team when it comes to that. So what happened in the series the first time is, well, Vegas is a good S&D team, so they're gonna lock up S&D against like a mid or like low tier S&D team, which Thieves can sometimes be, right? So they lock that up, and then they win their Mercado, and they got fucking comeback down in hotels. So like that's gonna happen sometimes versus Legion if they get 2 of their maps. So it's like you have to pick your poison. If they're gonna be locking up Mercado and Embassy, then you got to win an S&D. And if Thieves aren't going to win S&D, then
I feel like that's just been their struggle as of late. Yeah. Like they're just not perfect on it. Yeah. So it's again like I feel like they know what they got to work on. They just got to do it, right? Like,
the issue with their search is they're really good at hotel S&D, and sometimes it makes it in a series, but a lot of times it doesn't.
Yeah.
And they end up being a team A team that gets a CeeLo picked on them second map, and their CeeLo struggles are so weird. Because it's not like they struggled to find picks on the map. For whatever reason, when they end up in a 4v3, 3v2, bomb down, bomb not down, they just make the incorrect decisions as a team and they get clutched on. And it's been time and time again. This is not just like this just happened in the Major 3 cycle. Chris, your team famously, I think, probably broke them in game 5 of that series in the finals. When
FaZe beat them like 5 times in that map, bro.
Yeah, like you guys are probably like giving them PTSD, but prior to all of that, like they lost a bunch of toughest CeeLos in the Major 1 cycle. So that map gets played so often by them that like they've got to clean up their situational search play on that map, and I think things will clean up because they're 4-10 right now on that map. They're 8-3 on hotels.
Yeah. I mean, dude, 100%. You have to. I mean, bro, yeah, they have to open up their map pool and search. And the thing is, too, is like obviously, I'll say one thing I guess with searches. Like aside, like you can play Fortress S&D, and of course, like you can be a little bit better than the other team at it for sure. But like, Ant, you play ranked, and you watch. I know you don't play too much ranked, but like you watch enough. Have you played Fortress S&D?
I mean, I'm iridescent, bro. I'm grinding.
Yeah, no. I know that. I'm saying like you've played it. Like you see how that shit plays out, bro. Like
yeah, bro. Literally, like,
you want to play that again, like, bro, pro team versus pro team, bro. Who hops in the window at the right time? Like I'm saying, like,
bro,
there's a lot of weird shit to that map.
He's sitting there like, fuck this map. 100%.
Well, because it's just, again, it's like one of those maps where it's like you can definitely still be good at it. There are teams that are a little bit better at it and have it down more. But at the end of the day, like you hop in and get in that art building, anything can fucking happen. And like a lot of people don't like doing that. So it's like more of a gamble too. So it's like weird with them. But yeah, no, their map pool right now in S&D is just not that good. I feel like it's as simple as that. Like,
we're just all timing, and that is ass, brother.
yeah, and that's
literally
that's a scary place to be sometimes. Not comfortable for a lot of people to play.
I think Slasher came on a show and called Fortress S&D gambling.
Well,
I agree. You 100% agree.
You're at the roulette
for the most part.
Any odds, evens, red and black, and you're hoping that
Ben, you could literally just jump back and forth with a trophy, like dive back and forth.
Yeah.
And then like if your teammate just decides to run through bottom art at the right time, like when you're on offense, he can get like a 2-piece open and close, and then the round's over.
It's like,
bro, what are we doing?
Like we're not bad at that map when we play it and obviously practice and shit. Like we're like we like it, but again, like a lot of the times, like we happen to just be good at other maps right now. But like that map. It's gambling, you know, it's more of a gamble than the other maps, in my opinion. You can still definitely have ways to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can definitely find, like, a little bit of a method, but it's not I guess the best way to put it, it's not a comfortable map to play. Not a comfortable map to play, like, as a player, to be in art and just, like, how it goes and watching the windows and all that other shit. So, like, it's a weird, so again, it's a weird map for, like, if you're able to get hotel out of there on them, and then you can play that. So, like, yeah, they'd have to up their S&D pool. The one thing, I guess, the saving grace is the first bloods are the hard part. It's kind of like a hard point, you know? Get the kills is the hard part. Doing the next part's the easy part, but we're fucking that up. Obviously, no excuse for that, but we have to figure it out. Same thing with S&D. Getting the first blood's the hard part, right? The 4v3s should be the easy part on paper, but they're fucking it up. So it's a very frustrating and a very annoying problem to have, but, like, it's not the worst problem to have. So, again, like, they're a good team. I mean, bro, they went through very similar stuff last year, and they figured it out. So, again, I think, I think, again, this is not a team that's just, like, all of a sudden not a threat or some shit like that. I think they found themselves in losers. They lost to us. It happens. And then after that, they found themselves in losers, and all it takes is, again, a team that matches up with you well or whatever it is to all of a sudden be in a tough spot. So, like, it's whatever to me. Like, I don't know. So kind of just scratch it and go back.
Let's keep moving and grooving because I want to cover all the teams and get a couple of questions in. Seattle Surge. Wild ride this major. And just like you said on the sometimes you just get a bad draw thing, they were the team that I picked to win. And I think you were pretty high on Seattle too, right? Going to this event, if I remember correctly.
I thought that they were looking really good, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they were just checked, bro. Simp checked them 100. Brother, everybody talks about the kill he got. Did you see what he was doing on the map, Ben? In that round 11? Like, bro, this guy was moving, dude. He was, that was a crazy ass round, dude.
But I want to tip. Obviously, Sim got a crazy hipfire kill to win that series. But for Seattle, and this is why, like, I wouldn't be too down about this placing. I know they had a not a great one against OpTic after they lost that FaZe series the next day. Dante looks way better in search. In general, they look way better in search. That was their big limiter last major when they dropped an absolute egg. They were very competitive in the split, got a lot of points. I know that this top 6 placing is probably not what they wanted, but I think there's a lot of like about the progress on Seattle right now in terms of fixing the issues they had at Major 2. I assume you guys agree, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think after they lost to us in just such a fucking, you know, heartbreaking fashion, obviously that last map. Like, the thing is like, dude, they came all the way back, you know what I mean, to go all the way to round 11 and then lose. And, like, I think that's, like, just like, again, I don't know if they would attest to this, like, but this can be completely wrong, and I'm not even a huge believer in this a lot of the times, but, like, to come back from that and then play against a really hot OpTic at their home crowd who's fucking frying. Obviously, OpTic was playing so well. We were talking about it.
Starting off on Hydro, it's over, bro.
Yeah, like, I just think that, again, they also played OpTic on Hydro and Fortress. I know they're a good Fortress team, though. Like, Seattle's a good Fortress team, so I get it. But, like, yeah, that's also 2 really good maps for OpTic too, right? So it's like they were specifically playing very well on those throughout the losers run. So, like, I just think they lost to us in a heartbreaking fashion and then played a really hot OpTic and they didn't play their best versus them and they got smoked. But, like, I don't know. I think Seattle's progress was good. I think their Major 2 was, like, you know, they fell in a rut. They got out of the rut. They made some progress. I think they're still progressing in that sense, and they're still a really dangerous hardpoint team. And I think, again, I think they're still in a pretty good spot. I still think they would be a contender again. You know what I mean? Like if they win that round 11 against us, I think they're a true contender. You know, like I really do. Like so, you know, it's obviously
I still
sucks.
think they are. They ran the trap in that series against OpTic. Because OpTic is not playing MC Hardpoint right now, so they took that out of the set, and that's been pretty much a bread and butter for Seattle.
That's Seattle's best map, yeah.
All year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fortress made it because we know we joke all the time. Temp once came on the flank and said that Pred is 99 on that map. You know, like
Pred's really
rating
Fortress
like
normally, yeah,
some stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I think it then became a choice of like Hydro or Hotel, and Hydro was a choice, and that may not have, you know, in hindsight, maybe not their best.
OpTic was just really hot on it. Yeah, OpTic was playing really good Hydro hardpoint, and I think that was just a tough map to play Hydro, like Hydro versus a very hot OpTic team. That's good. Like, and again, like I think if they win that round 11, they're fine. So I don't really think there's too much to talk about. Like I think Seattle's
like
chilling.
The biggest criticism the community's always had is like, yo, this team should drop Lamar or Mac. But
I have something to say about that. Go,
bro. They're top 3 in respawn. Why the fuck would they drop a player to make their respawn better?
Just one thing to back up. I just checked the vetoes from that. I just want us to be clear. I just checked the vetoes from that series, and Seattle was Team B, so they actually didn't pick.
They vetoed Mercado though. Yeah, vetoing Mercado versus a team like OpTic is a very tough veto because you get Hydro and Fortress in the series. Yeah, and again, it's very hard. It's the same reason why like. We played a red hot OpTic on Fortress because we didn't really want to play Hydro because that's been we've been struggling on that map, and obviously you saw where that got us.
That's a better call is to play the Fortress.
Oh, I think so too, considering we're not very comfortable on that map yet. We're gonna obviously work on shit, but that's my point. Like sometimes you get forced into a scenario where you're like, oh fuck, you know. And I think they got forced into the absolute worst one by having the veto Mercado, who OpTic's not bad at that map, but like they were playing really good Hydro and really good fucking Fortress in my opinion. So like it was just tough, and I think like that hurts them. So yeah, regardless, that's like the Seattle team's fine, but dropping Lamar and all that shit, like I know people talk about that, bro. I don't know how much more obvious it has to be, and I can even use like my team's like a little bit struggles right now with this respawn stuff. Like we're getting the kills and losing, and again, it's a frustrating thing. It's a good problem to have. We do need to fix it. There's no excuse. Blah blah blah. I've already talked about it, but like, bro, you don't need 10 million kills to win.
Facts.
Like, bro, trust me. You guys watch it with my team right now. Like, bro, every team that Lamar is on specifically, I'm like obviously I back Lamar. I think Lamar, I don't think he's the most talented fucking pro on the street in the sense like he's not fucking dropping 1.5s. He's like, but I do think Lamar brings so much to a team that people again just will never understand, to the point where like almost every team he's on in respawn is nasty. At one point or the other is nasty. I even think dating back to MW, they were really good at hardpoint. Wasn't New York one of the best MW hardpoint teams at a time? I'm pretty sure they hit a stride where they were fucking gross. Bro, he didn't really play too much Cold War. I know he had his ups and downs in that because like, you know, that Minnesota roster was a fucking shit show. Then fucking last year, Seattle was dominant at hardpoint for the most part. Like, bro, if you played Seattle in a Tusky, like they were a good hardpoint team. They were always a contender. And then the same thing this year. And I think even in Black Ops 4, I think Splice at a point in time was a pretty good hard. You know what I mean? Like, bro, Lamar brings so much to that team that if they didn't have Lamar, in my opinion, I don't think they would have been as good of a respawn team as they became to be without him. Like, I think like that is so underrated, like getting people to do the right shit with the kills, because you could do the wrong shit with the kills and end up losing and that shit happens. So it's like, I personally think like, people are just so fucking crazy. Don't get me wrong. There are times where he doesn't play the best. And like, you know, you have to pick it up here and there. But like, bro, that team is not nearly as good at hardpoint and like their philosophy and structure without him. Every team Lamar's on is really good at fucking respawn. So like, I think dropping him and Mac and just like restructuring the roster like all these people always talk about, like, bro, they're a top 3 respawn team and they're struggling at search. They lost the round 11. Bro, if they win that round 11 versus us, they're top 3 and contending for a fucking event. Like, what are you saying? Like, I don't know.
He clearly makes his teammates look godlike, because now that you bring that up, like I'm thinking back to like when he was on that Minnesota team, like Standy looked like the absolute lord, bro. And I'm not taking anything away from these subs, but just something about having that
Bro,
guy who's
no,
calling everything
take
out.
it away
You
from
go
him.
back
Take
to
it, no,
World War II with like
take
Kenny
no, yeah, and Kenny,
Farrell.
take it away from him.
Are final when they have him because they can do whatever they want.
Bro, take it away from him. Absolutely take it away from the subs for a second. Again, obviously, Pred's fucking gross. Kenny's fucking gross. All these players are very good fucking players. No fucking shit. But, bro, COD, people think that Call of Duty is like this game where, like, you spawn up and like, you just take hard gunfights every goddamn time you spawn up and you win them all the time, and that's who's good. Like, for example, Pred. I think Pred's nasty. I think he's really good. But Pred does not spawn up every time he spawns in and shoots this hard-ass gunfight 1v1 and wins every single time, and that's why Pred's the fucking best. Bro, when you were fucking slaying and when you were dominating and when you were flowing, in that flow state where you just fucking, picking up kills, dropping 40s, you're getting fucking half freebies half the time because you are playing a system of Call of Duty that is advantageous to you to get easier. You're playing an easier game of Call of Duty, plain and simple. Because of the philosophy of your team. So, for example, if you play a very good system of hardpoint, you shit on people. AKA, a lot of teams that have Lamar on it, that have a very good system of hardpoint, shit on people. And AKA, a lot of the times, his sub is very fucking good because of that. Like, I'm not taking it away. Yes, Pred's a fucking dominant player. He's one of the best players right now in the league, like, that we've seen in forever. But, like, if you play a harder game of Call of Duty, you don't drop as many 40 bombs. Not because you're not as talented, but it's because of the fact that you're playing a game that you're fucking going crazy with. Like, you're doing that. Like, bro, that is 100% a thing. Like, good hardpoint teams
to do other stuff. Like
bro, yeah, good hardpoint teams that set themselves up for a more consistent play style that allows their people to do like more shit consistently. Obviously, sometimes you can't. Like, you're going to have better chances to do better. 100%. That is how COD is. Bro, Pred does not spawn up every time and shoot a guy off a head glitch, and he's just like some god that no one else can do that. Like, he is elite. He's an S-tier talented player. I think Pred is so nasty. But my point is like, when you're playing a better game, it's also going to help that too.
Yep.
I'm not taking that away from Pred. I'm just saying, like, when you're in a respawn mode where you're all flowing, you get the fry. I've seen it with my team. When my team is in a dominant mode, I've coached them for a while. When they're playing their best hardpoint, usually a BZ or Simp are fucking dominating. But it's not just because they're as good as they fucking are. It's also because, like, we're putting them in positions to dominate. Bro, it's all a teamwork game. If you don't have a single rotation and you're always breaking, for example, and you're always challenging people on head glitches, you probably don't dominate. You see what I mean? Obviously, there are players that do better in those positions better than others, for sure. But, like, I don't know. Dude, Lamar is not the most talented pro, and he doesn't always dominate in the sense that there are some times where he probably can pick it up in kills here and there, for sure. I'm not going to be stupid with that. But every team he's on is one of the best respawn teams for a fucking reason. And if you can't see that, you're fucking stupid.
There's
Plain
just
simple.
the general public just, like, they don't understand, like, in game, like, the little situations where it's like, I know my teammate's disgusting, so I'm like, all right, I'll sit in hill, bro. Go ahead, push out. You push out. Even if it's like technically my turn to like go push out, and that situation's like, you go ahead. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm top window. Well, press cover behind me. All right, I'm gonna jump out. I'll throw my body at the hill. Like, Lamar will make these types of decisions, and like sometimes it won't always result in the crazy numbers and the stats. But like, dude, there's so much that goes on like in a Call of Duty game, like situationally, that like people don't see. And clearly, they're number one in hardpoint on the season, number 3 in control headed into the event. They've been winning their respawns. It's never been a respawn thing for that team. So to answer your original question, Ben, like, I don't think they need to do anything but just continuously work on what they have going on.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's move on because we still have a bunch of teams to talk about. I want to talk about, before we get to like 3 teams I think at the bottom, let's talk about the one that I think right now is 100% at the bottom. Rock bottom, if you want to make a joke about the Minnesota ROKKR. I don't think they got a single point this split.
It's chalk, bro.
And I talked to Dylan on Saturday, and you know, when my sense of talking to him is just, you know, they're getting back, they're gonna fly back, or they don't fly back, they're in Dallas. They're going to go back to their apartments in the facility and use this time to really rethink what they're doing collectively. It's just a really frustrating split from them because they played so good in Major 2 and then came back and instantly dropped an egg from like day one of the split, to the point of like their coaches were doing those post-game interviews on their Twitter account talking about how the practice wasn't good, the focus wasn't there. So the whole camp needs a rethink on things. Their academy team just got second. They came, unfortunately, runners up to Wee Man and Metals and them on the EU side. Those guys were nasty. But I'm curious what you guys think ROKKR should do now that they're like 40-point lead and 8th is now 20. So they're going to need to figure this out, or they may be in danger of back-to-back years not making Call of Duty champs.
They got to try to get Asim, or they got to try to go get Standy back. I think they definitely need to make a change. The only team that I'll say right now that's like can change and become like a contending squad, like make some moves, and because they have good talent. That's just my take on it, bro. That performance in this stage was too bad. And then even prior to this stage, like they have never been the team. I said this on broadcast. This is a team when you look at it on paper where you're like, all right, they have to be good at S&D and strategically just a sound roster. The problem is they've never been that in this entire game.
Or they've been horrible at search.
Yeah, they've never been like the search team, and they've never been that strategically sound team in the respawns either. Right, so it's like they're going out there and just winning controls. I guess in stage 1 they were like decent at it, like they had a CeeLo locked up.
Well, they had to because they had to, and because they kept losing game. They kept losing game 1 and 2. Remember back in Major 1?
Yeah. So my thing is like they only had success when Afro and Bance were going crazy, but this is never a team that's going to consistently have superstar performances out of those guys. Like Bance is elite. I love Bance. I think he's an elite playmaker, but he's not like he's not a slayer like that. Like it's not. Never in his career has he shown us that. So I'm doubtful that can happen. Afro can do it, but I don't know. I just don't think that this is a team that's going to go out there and win championships. And Minnesota ROKKR in their camp and those players they all want to win championships. That's their goal. So I think that they make a change, and I think they should make a change personally.
Chris, your thoughts?
I mean, bro, listen. I say this with the information that I was received on Twitter. That they weren't trying in scrims. Whoever the fuck's not trying in scrims, drop the fucking guy. Get him out. Like, bro, like, I know exactly what Chris is about. No, listen, bro, I'm telling you right now, I truly do think that would, like, obviously to a degree, as a coach, you want to, obviously that's like your job to keep people motivated and to try. You have like the culture of the scrims and shit, for sure. I think there's always like, both extremes where like sometimes you just can't change someone's shitty ass mindset because whatever, because like they're just being assholes and that's it, they just don't want to win or they don't want to do it. Like that is a thing for sure. Obviously good coaching can try to go back and forth, but like, bro, whoever the fuck that weird video was about of effort and scrims, it wasn't about the entire team, bro. Not all 4 players. And I'm sure they've talked about this. So I have no idea who it is. I don't know who the fuck it is. And I don't know, maybe they've talked about it and now they're actually going to do it. But you should never, ever be able to, and maybe it's a bunch of bullshit and like the players feel opposite about it. I have no idea, but like if you're not putting effort in scrims after getting 3rd place, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
plain and simple, bro. Plain and simple. Like I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck how good you are. Obviously, maybe if you're an S tier fucking player and you're fucking elite, you're allowed to have your ups and downs. Be like, yo, let's reel it back in. Let's go. Let's get it back to it. But like, bro, that is not the attitude that has it. So it's like 0 points to split. If that is true and they weren't trying in practice or whatever the fuck that was, if that was true, it was deserved and they need to fucking figure it out. And will they rebound? It depends on how bad they want it. Like in that sense, like, but like, again, when they were playing their absolute best, they got 3rd. Granted, they could have, they were like a few plays, crazy match versus us, but yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like right now, I don't even want to worry about the rebound as much as they worry about that. Because if you don't fix that issue of whatever that issue was, then you can't get anywhere anyway. Nothing else matters. You have to figure that out.
I won't say exactly what it is, but like also like there's other stuff going on with that team as well.
Maybe that's like, maybe for sure.
Yeah,
that's I don't know.
I think that I think it's like it might be chalked. I don't know.
And so I don't know anything. Sorry to cut you off, Ben. I don't know anything. So that's my point. And there's some times where like there can actually be like real life shit behind the scenes that like players don't want to be public about, where like they're dealing with shit. Like no, I know.
Like anything.
But I'm saying like there could be real life stuff that like you might not be putting like your 100% in because like other shit, and like people might understand, and then like whatever. Like I have no idea what's causing it. So like there could be more of an excuse, but my point is like if you don't fix the culture of trying in practice and wanting to be the best and all of that kind of shit, if that is not your culture, you are not going to win. And that if that's not fixed, you don't get anywhere. So like the reason why I don't even like want to really talk about it too much, even more from my perspective, is like with all that shit, like none of the fuck they do matters until they start trying in practice. If that was true, again, that was just so fucking weird.
They might just have like a chemistry thing, like that's
maybe like again, maybe like again, two players just can't fucking see eye to eye. This guy hates this guy. This guy's not trying as hard because this guy's an idiot. Whatever it is, you have to fucking fix that and make the best of it, because if you can't fix that, it is almost impossible to get to a level of winning. What we were talking about, everyone wants to win. In order to win against the best teams, you have to be there 100%. Right?
So,
like it's
aside from that, though, what do you think about the just composition of this roster in general? Like, let's just say perfect world, like they're vibing and they're all trying in scrims. Like,
yeah.
Do you think that this is a roster that can go on to win championships? In your opinion?
I think they can contend. It just depends on, like, I think Cammy is a big X factor. I think with Cammy, when like Cold War, when he was playing like really, really, really good, like really, like, you know, like when he was like fucking one of the best players in the game, I think he's disgusting. And like I think you're doing a lot of banking on that. And then like I think Bance is like weirdly hit or miss. I think like he's like, but I do think Bance, his play style is like a very winning play style, in the sense of like when he's playing well, I think it's a very scary team. That's why like when he was playing well and he got third place, like that's like almost like a good and a bad thing, because like he's having like a fucking event of a lifetime and like you don't win. Where like I think the way Bance plays is really good for the team. So it's like I think they can contend. I don't know how consistently they could contend, just because again, like I don't know what's causing them to be like so on a different page. But again, I don't think they're terrible. They might, like, I do think, I don't know, like I feel like when Afro's playing well too, it's like weird. Like I feel like they're a team, I guess, the way I could put it from the outside looking in. If all of them were firing on all cylinders and playing at their best, they could be very, very good. But I feel like they have a lot of ups and downs, just like recently as players. That's weird. Like I feel like Afro's really good when he's on, but then I feel like sometimes he's like you know, like more like mellow. But I don't know if that's like because their system is ass and they're not getting on the same page. You know what I mean? Or like I'm not too sure. That's my I don't know.
I think before you go in, the one context of ROKKR that I also want to add on top of messaging coming from their account is your COO Brett Diamond also tweets stuff after the stage. And I want to read you his tweet verbatim, because it's very important that we get the context. He tweeted, "Going winless for a full stage of the CDL season is not acceptable to anyone in our organization, the players and coaches most of all. We expect to win championships, not to be watching from home on Saturdays. We trust our coaches to get back on track in stage 4. So if anyone watches pro sports, this coaches owner's confidence thing is a common card that's played. And usually at the tail end of a situation when really the whole stuff is all kind of in question. I think not just the players, but I think you can ask of for the front office of this team, the amount of money they've spent, the amount of different teams they've spent. They've only got one chip in a couple of years. Outside of that, they have been usually on the average to below average side of the league. And they're in a point now where I mean, if they don't make champs this year, I think a lot of changes are going to happen with that organization from the competitive side in order to guarantee that the investment in the team matches the results. Here's your guys' thoughts.
What are you saying with that? What are you implying?
I'm implying that the players and the coaches and everybody is being held accountable now.
He thinks there's going to be like a wipe and a restructure.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't trying to read between the lines there. I
wasn't trying to be cagey about it. I'm just saying that I'm just trying to say that everybody, staff and players included, have to take accountability for what's happening. I think the coaches take accountability for what's happened over the course of a couple of years, because a number of these players have just joined this year. But go ahead.
Ben, it's totally fair what Brett's doing. I mean, he's put a lot of trust in these guys. I mean, he went and he grabbed 2 players from a pretty good organization that had good placings. He paid them a lot of money, and also, I mean, they have a good coaching staff. It's like Looney, Brian Saint, and then who's like their GM, isn't it? Nubsy, right?
No, I think Jake Reppin's technically.
Oh, Jake Reppin, yeah.
So like,
I mean, like they went and like grab people who have like been in the scene for a while, and you know, they trust all these guys. So if they don't have success, like I think, like, yeah, the organization, it would be the right thing to maybe like reset, right? Like this is a roster a lot of people had in their like top 4, bro, coming into the season. Like they thought I was gonna be pretty good. So I don't think they necessarily like even the the coaching or the GM and management even did like a bad job. It's just unfortunate. Like right now, their performance. So
whoever's not trying over there, start fucking trying. That's all I'm saying.
I agree, Chris. And again, the other issue is their roster last year was also good. Remember, they ran back their team from Cold War that had won an event and gotten top 4. And then they absolutely stunk at the beginning of the Cold War year. To make that change, roster, bring in Eli.
Bro, that roster was horrible.
They ran it back after top 4
I mean,
last year. They stuck with it and made more changes.
That roster on paper, on Cold War, whatever, Cold War for sure, but like, did you watch that roster play last year? I'm not, bro. Priest is like my best friend too.
They were slow.
Bro, I'm saying horrible. I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying horrible in the sense where like they had good. So I see where you're going with that. They had obviously good players, and like I know what you mean. They should have been better, but like the way they played last year, and now that last year's over, bro. Watching the mini map when they played Hardpoint, I wanted to slam my head through the fucking wall.
Yeah, me too.
Like, bro,
there is an episode of Flank from like the middle of that year where Tom and I lost composure.
That team was way too good to be playing like that. So that's what I mean. Like I don't know. Like it was weird. That was weird for sure.
I love Dill, but also they've trusted him for a couple of years now. And like you said, Ben's not like, it might just be time to move past the like attach experiment, like move him somewhere else and maybe reset, but who knows?
I don't think you're wrong. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
It's just so hard to judge. Like
it is.
It's bro. To see like with this team again, like when you have like team players that are doing well, or like like again like their last year roster should have been so much better than they were, but then you were watching them play Hardpoint and you're just sitting there like, huh? You know what I mean? Like especially like for me, I guess for me like with Priestess specifically, like bro, like I know Preston knows how to play Hardpoint. You know what I mean? Like I know he knows how to play elite Hardpoint. Like I've talked to the kid, I've watched him. Like bro, if you talk to him behind the scenes, he could show you a mini map and be like he can like draw it up and be like, this is what we should do for the like all this shit. Like he's not a stupid kid. So like watching them play Hardpoint, I used to just be like, bro, like you're not on my team, so I can't like really. It was like weird, but I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like it was just so weird. But like regardless, like it's just so odd. Like there's something going wrong. I just don't know what it is in there because like again, like the attached experiment is like like I feel like Dylan. Like he's grown up a lot and he puts a lot of effort in, and like maybe he just doesn't mesh with the players that is being surrounded by. So maybe he does need a change. Like I'm not sure. Again, they could still contend, but like it's just like weird. I feel like something is just off, and like again, like, I don't know. Yeah, like it's maybe there has to be something like that. Even like now, like they show up and like all of a sudden people aren't trying, and again, like hypothetically speaking, that could be a coaching thing. That could also be a player thing. You know what I mean? Like that could also be like. The coach is on this player's ass. This player's just being a dickhead. It's time to get rid of him. You know what I mean? Like that is also so it's like, there's just something weird. I feel like there's more to that.
A couple iterations of this roster, right, Ben, Chris, and it's been pretty similar issues they've had with like multiple iterations of the roster, right? So to me,
it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, right? Because
it's very.
I never want to look at a COD team because. I don't want to look at a COD team and just be like, man, maybe there's like some culture over there. It's like team dynamics just been off for years, but I don't know. It's just a weird trend that we're seeing.
But sometimes that's like that you just need to change get a fresh start because sometimes you just need that. Like that's not even a slight at anybody. Sometimes like that slight. Sometimes that actually is just what's needed. Like a good example is FaZe in Black Ops 3 and shit. Remember that, Ant? Like that FaZe team back in then?
Oh yeah,
bro. They just needed a fucking wipe, bro. They were all good.
They needed a wipe.
And they all proceeded to go on and be successful. Yep. But like it just was not with each other. You know what I mean? Like
it took them too long to figure that out.
I mean, still, but that's my point. That's my point, though. Yeah.
They also like I hope they keep Afro on this team in this organization for a while because they keep getting these like solid sub players and like just like letting them go, and they've kept attached throughout it, right? Because like. I think Havoc's really good, and I thought he was pretty good on that team. And like, he's never really been surrounded by like a bunch of like top tier players, especially now that he's like come to fruition to like his like final form, I guess. So it's like they could have still had him on this roster, and like Standy as well. I thought he was pretty good in Minnesota. Obviously, they had a tough year last year, but it's like players that you could have like sort of built around, and they just like kept Dylan instead, So I don't know.
I think
they keep Afro.
We'll talk more about this issue, I think, in future episodes, but they're on the hot seat for sure. So we have 3 teams left we haven't talked about yet. Vegas, LAG, Florida. I want to actually talk about them in a group, which is, we're just talking about ROKKR. They are now in the 8th spot in overall standings. It was a decent lead before. It is now, with Vegas on 90 points, down to a 20-point lead with ROKKR at 110. Between Vegas, LAG, and Florida, which of the three do you think has the best shot to compete for that 8th champ spot? And do you think that they will outduel Minnesota to get it?
Oh, Vegas will be a champs, bro. I have no doubt about that.
I personally.
Why do you think that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
Because they have it.
I think Vegas right now. I was gonna say I think Vegas right now out of the three looks like they have the most promising thing. LAG is a huge question mark for me with how their last event just went. With a bunch of stuff. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
but like,
they're chalk, bro.
I'm saying. So we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I feel like right now Vegas, but we'll get to that conversation. Go, Antho. You're fine.
I mean, you just look at like Vegas and their season. Like they've had a game mode that they've been consistent at, contend with everybody, and like they're a top echelon S&D team. And then you look at like their development, and it's like Hardpoint has gotten so much better. There's some maps you don't really want to play them on, as we touched on earlier, and they have players who have now. Like Clay has turned up at the last 2 lands. Like he's played great. Like the whole team, and yeah, and like Too Real has fixed a couple things in the roster. He's shown a lot of development as a player, and then like TJ and S&D has been just like kind of lights out, at least this last 2 stages. So I think Vegas are gonna continually like improve and work on their control. And
the control is awful.
When I look at the other teams though that are in like the bottom 4, I don't see any like promise or like baseline of like. They're good at this initially. Where are we building upon? And that's no like disrespect to Florida because they did come out and have a good performance. The reason I say that is because when I look at Florida, I see like a team that plays like super risky, aggressive at times, and they can win a hard point. But I think that style of play, they're going to get like just out talented by like the good teams and find themselves in a very bad spot where if they have a tough split, they're starting to lose round 1, and they can just get bopped out of the tournament. I think Vegas is a team that already playing at an insane disadvantage online because they don't have a facility, right? So I think that plays into it. But now that they've gotten more confidence and they know they can contend, they're going to play better online. And if they get themselves a winner's bracket slot, I think they can do some damage, personally.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I personally just think right now Vegas, I even talked to Clay a little bit for the first time in a minute just at an event because I'm usually like kind of in my own little world. Like, it just seems like Vegas right now is just in a good place in the sense of like trying to like proceed and get better and better. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they're still like working at it. They still are showing promise. They still have like that confidence like or belief that they can still do better than what they are. I think Clay has been playing better these last 2 events, which is good for them. TJ's very good S&D. I think if he continues to like, you know, work on his respawn, that could be really good for them. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think Vegas right now with the confidence they've gotten, they've shown some like, you know, some signs of hope. I think they're kind of getting the ball rolling a little bit. Yes, their control is not that bad. Not that good, but it could be fixed probably, you know, in that sense where like if you're winning hard points, you usually have the skill and the talent to win controls. It's just obviously you're probably playing the mode wrong. Whatever it is, that's usually how that goes. So it's like, I think they can figure it out and get better and have more confidence. It's obviously unfortunate that they don't have that facility. At least Donnie gets to play in hours now, but like still like, I just feel like right now out of these 3, Vegas shows the most promise. Florida, to me, I think Florida's good where they can come out and beat you. So, for example, if you match up with them, it's not like, oh, easy win, ever. Like their old Florida team was more like that, where you match up with their older Florida team, they were in shambles behind the scene clearly. They weren't playing well, and like they weren't very good. I do think now this Florida team, you come out, it's like, all right, we got to make sure we play our game and beat them. But at the same time, I feel like, at least from what it looks, and they're still a very young and new team now because they're still brand new. It might be late, but we'll see how they develop. Is their floor could be a little low sometimes. That's the scary thing with them. Like what you were saying, Ant. Very aggressive, very risky. That leads to like a lower floor, and that's almost like the opposite of what they need right now in the sense like they kind of got to start winning consistently. So we'll see. Again, they could obviously correct themselves and get better, and they have the potential, but we'll kind of see with them. And then, yeah, LAG, bro, like, I just don't know what happened with them in this event, and obviously the Alec thing, too, I'm not fully up to speed with, so I don't know. Like, that's where it scares me with that, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Alec talked about it. I think he went on the watch party and said that he had like hand issues, so that's no bueno. Hopefully, I know he was playing rank play last night, so hopefully,
I was gonna say hopefully
it's good enough.
Did he say how serious? Like, was it like a doctor ordered hand issue, or just like his hand hurt? And like, obviously, does that make sense? Like when Tommy had hand issues, for example, that I dealt with as his teammate, Tommy went to the doctor, and his doctor was like, "Yo, you're fucked." You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
Like, was it something like that, or was it like he said it was swollen?
Did you talk to him, Ben?
No, I haven't talked to Alec at all.
But okay. So my next question: if it was swollen, now has he gone to a doctor? And you see, this is where I'm going with this. Is it fixed? Because people are saying he's playing right now. I have no idea. I know Alec was just in the chat. He's not here anymore, and I'm sure Alec doesn't want to fucking talk about this right now. But like, that's my thing. It's like, did he go to a doctor, and is it like, is he okay, or did he just say like, fuck it, I'm gonna keep going? Like that's where he said it could have just been because he slept on it wrong. His hand was swollen. So
he just woke up and like his hand was fucked up. I should have talked to Alec at the event.
Yeah, I didn't. Dude, I'm like in and out. I don't talk to like anybody.
Well, Han. Here's what I'd say. Like,
that's why I'm confused.
Issue, which Marky B came in and Spark came in. It was a whole hilarious situation. Mark got his big send off. Anyway, I think the bigger problem is like there's a weird. I just got to navigate a role issue on their team. I don't know if you all agree, but like they have too many R's on their team, and I don't know if it's going to set them up for best success. Do you guys agree, disagree that the Assault Alec combo kind of is sort of limiting their ceiling right now?
I mean, I don't think it's playing, and I don't think it's helping them like very well. I do think Alec can flex though. I think Alec's got the talent to flex, and that's like my thing with them right now is that's why I'm so like, even so, I guess to the point, even when Alec was before his hand hurt at the event and everything that happened with him, hopefully that's all good. Like, my thing is like, yeah, they were still struggling, but I still believe that when that team first formed, they were doing well in hardpoint. Even their academy team before they had Alec. Like, they were a good hardpoint team, a pretty good hardpoint team in the beginning of the year, which means they have it in them to be a good hardpoint team. So usually what that tells you, like from my experience, is like they are not on the same page. They're either not getting good practice, their culture's off. Something is going wrong.
Yo, can I say a hot take, bro?
Yeah, go for it.
I think I might say it, but you guys won't. I'm not gonna claim to know what you're thinking, but
yeah, it's fine.
I think Alec was trying to get dropped, bro. Like move to another team. That's my boy.
Wait, what? What, dude? What?
No, not with the hand thing.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is, I think he was going out there and playing, right? And I just think he was checked, bro. This team gave away Hook. Do you know how much I would lose full if I had a team?
No, you're actually with me on this one, yeah.
Bro, I would lose absolute mega full if my org gave away Hook and then replaced it with the whole academy team. That's no slight to them. It's just Hook is a beast.
Well, I don't know whose decision
so,
that was.
I think
fully. Yeah, that was a crazy decision.
Either way though, it would be nearly. And I'm just speaking from my personal. I haven't talked to Alec. I don't know what he's thinking. That's my boy. I like him a lot. But if I was him, I would be so checked in the back of my mind. I'd be like, please drop me so I can join another team. Like dead ass. Like, and I can tell you a lot of people have been in this type of situation, and that is a real thing that's happened before. Not that Alec was throwing games or anything like that, just that he's checked, like, and subconsciously he's just like wants to get off the team. Especially when the OpTic opportunity came and he couldn't go, like shit like that, it just eats at you as a player and it affects your performance. Not in a direct manner where he's going out there and losing or not trying in scrims. Just it affects your performance and the dynamic within the team where you guys just can't ultimately get to your final form.
By the way, you are not. We can name and we won't expose those players, but there are players who are currently in the CDL now who have won events the last couple of years who have pulled that maneuver in the past to successful get on a better team and win.
Well, think about
uncommon
Dashy
play.
And OGLA. Dashy did the same thing with OGLA.
Yeah.
I mean, like this happened. You know what I mean? And it's not like, bro, people do this in the NBA. Like it's not like
James Harden
throwing games. Yeah, they're not throwing games. It just affects the team's performance. So like, Alec, I think is elite. I think he's the best player on that team. My take, but I think that team would be better without Alec. I think that if the full academy team came up, they would have been better than what we saw.
I think I agree.
Well,
I think
so you're taking your take with what I was basically saying is like, I think behind like whatever, like I think they have it in them, but obviously they're clearly not clicking like they should be, and they're playing. I think they're playing worse than how good they could be. I think they're playing under their level of what they can reach. Was what I was getting at before you said that take is like I think they were playing like if their line was here, I think they're playing here right now. Like I think they're playing below how good they could be at like when they're playing good. So like. So you're saying like because of the whole situation, you're saying like Alec. So yeah, at first I thought you meant like Alec was like throwing, but like you're saying like subconsciously like he's just not in the right mindset because that. I mean,
Bro, Chris,
Maybe.
listen, I watched the match, and I think Alex a beast. So I'm always staring at his.
Alex is very good.
I'm like,
yeah,
I'm learning from him. I'm always in his stream, bro. I talk to him all the time, like in the stream and shit.
Alex is a very good player.
And I watch him play. So I watching them play a game, right? And I remember everybody was like, Alex trash. He had a 0.8. Like the whole community was roasting him. The next day that they played, bro, he was like sitting in the back of. He had like a 1.4 or something in the next series that they played. And the way that he was playing, I was like, brother. Like, you just need to be stacked in the hill right now. Like, he was just making some decisions where I'm like, I know you're trying to get that 2 or 3 piece, right? So it just seems like maybe he was playing for the wrong things. Like, I don't think the mental was all the way there.
I don't know. I mean,
they go ahead, Chris.
That's a hot take. I mean, that's like something he can only answer. I mean, I'm just like so opposite of shit like that, and like you've known me for a long time. Like,
yeah.
That's like I don't even want to believe that's like fucking fully true. Obviously, to a point, I know it's happened in a sense, like with more like other stuff, but like I feel like if you're deciding to play on the roster and like you're still there, like that would be like a crime to do some shit like that. But like at the same time, like, I don't know. I feel like. I mean, maybe I don't know. I feel like that.
Going hard.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, like
bro.
I know where you're going with that though. You're not saying like he's just not trying to win. You're just saying like,
so Chris,
with everything affected, he might feel like he's.
Let me just say one last thing, because I've been in this spot before.
Mm-hmm.
When I was on EG and IW, I was pretty good at that game, and Envy was getting ready to make a move, and they were like dangling from me, like, "Yo, you can join our team. We might replace Cap." And I was talking to Slasher, I was talking to John. I was like, I'm down. And then EG was like, "No, you can't leave." I was mega checked, but I still went into scrims and went dummy hard and tried it.
But you're saying you were so checked from that it's something that you couldn't even avoid. Like you like it was you couldn't shake it, like something like I guess even like the OpTic Pred shit that people were saying. People were saying like how like Pred wanted OpTic, OpTic wanted Pred, he couldn't get it, and then like he was like more like just fucking pissed. Even though he wasn't throwing, like people were saying that, like that kind of take.
Here's the difference though with that though. Yeah, that kind of take, Chris, but the difference is they had won in the past and they had still been pretty good.
No, they're still a contending team, yeah.
So he had that baseline of like, all right, we're still pretty fucking good. I'm nasty.
No,
right?
yeah.
Alec hadn't had that success. So like,
no, I know what you mean.
It's hard to judge somebody in that position unless you've like kind of been in it for like the community and the people in this chat. Like, bro, it's I don't know, bro. It takes a different level of mental to just kind of be like, right.
No, I see where you're coming from with that. I can see that. I guess.
And the OpTic stuff didn't help, and yeah. So I'm curious what they do going forward with Alec. Obviously, LEG's got a bunch of external BS going on about it. We've talked about this in past episodes, so I think that's really going to limit their ability. I want to. We've run 2 hours. I want to get like 1 or 2 questions in from the chat. I think we did a good job running at the teams. Obviously, we're going to a couple weeks off. And then we get Major 4 qualifiers, and this will be a little bit of a weird event compared to the others because the players, once they go through the qualifiers, will be playing at a closed. I don't want to say the place because it's not publicly announced yet, but
closed venue.
Closed venue in Columbus, Ohio. So it'll be like Pro-Am Classic last year, so no crowd. So that'll be interesting. We'll talk about that in later episodes. I want to talk about a couple of questions in the chat.
Get the big one out of the way that people keep repeating. Ask me the question, Ben.
About what? About the FaZe one?
Ask me the question.
So
were you trolling or are you stupid?
So we were bantering on the couch. After that first map that and I thought we talked about in the beginning of the show.
We did. We touched on it, but you didn't ask me the question, so I want to know: were you trolling or were you what?
He was being dead ass, Chris.
I was being a little dead ass, honestly. That I felt like, and I'm curious your thoughts when OpTic gets in that mode with that crowd where every kill there's a cheer. Your team's being put in the absolute fucking blender on Fortress. Do you think that crowd is having an effect, or do you think it's more on the other side of OpTic just kind of making those plays and then, they're just kind of rolling along with all the energy they're feeling?
Well, I do think the crowd, obviously, when you're, I said this in the beginning, I'll say it again. I've never experienced something like that with like being on OpTic and obviously like fucking frying and then like obviously having people going crazy. But I have experienced like when your team is frying, like you can hear the crowd and you do get momentum. I don't think that's enough of an excuse to, again, play bad and do that. So my question to you, first of all, our Fortress in matches for some reason doesn't fully translate, and we've been playing bad Fortress hardcore matches, right?
You get
so we were getting insta flip, but we were so that map we came out flat, we got shit on. But even in that map, there were some times we weren't taking risks and we were making bad plays. Regardless, so that map we got shit on. But that's not a good map for us. That's an OpTic map. That OpTic should have won that map hypothetically, right? Like in the sense, like we just weren't playing that good, whatever. We lost it. Did you watch the other 3 maps, Ben? format?
Yeah, we were just talking about map 1 because the crowd was like dead. After that, and this is like in every OpTic series, like you know, that weekend, it's like there's so much energy before map 1, and it's like, bro, that minute if OpTic gets the first kill in that map, that roar, and that's where we were talking about it on the couch. So I was curious your thoughts. Obviously, you guys kind of neutralized them a little bit on the map too. Again, we talked about this sort of earlier in the episode, but they kind of obviously carried on with your guys' control woes, and then kind of carried the series.
But did you watch the series, right?
Oh yeah, I was standing on the couch.
What game mode are we good at? Search and destroy
at the moment.
Did we struggle? Did we struggle at S&D?
No. You guys dropped one S&D the entire split.
No. Versus OpTic. Did we struggle in S&D?
No, it was a pretty clean steal out.
So I know that's a different mode in the sense it's a little bit more of a quiet thing, but like when they won rounds, like when they got some kills, the crowd was going crazy, right? Like, so after we got shit on map 1, we played bad. We played shit COD. We got shit on. The crowd was roaring, and people screaming, right? We showed up to the next. If the crowd was affecting us, like you were saying, we would have gotten fucking slammed map 2, or we would have lost a close, grueler because of the crowd was affecting our gameplay, right? But we didn't.
That's not contextually what I said on the flank though, which is
what were you saying?
I'll tell you contextually what I'm because you have an opportunity to go up there after map 1 and be like,
everyone does, yeah. John
here's
does
our game plan.
Yeah.
Like my thing was more in map 1 is like I feel like it swings both ways. I feel like in that building, because if you've never been in that building, that box, the sound reverberates off all the walls. It's probably like 2,000,
the crowd's loud,
2,500 people in there. It's really
loud. Cool, yeah, dope.
I think on the OpTic side with their play style, they feed heavy off that energy. My question was like on the other side, was it like sitting there going 4 dead, hearing the crowd fucking screaming? Like, what does that affect the quick decision making? Like all that shit.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, bro, like we were getting 4 dead versus Toronto and going the wrong way. We were making mistakes. We were playing shit COD.
That definitely.
No, but that's what I'm saying. We bro, like my team would admit this too. I'm not roasting my team when I say this. Like we played shit Call of Duty on Sunday, not because of the crowd. Like what, bro? Like we like. If we just got like shit on in the sense like where like we just showed up and just got fucking. Again, map 1 is a bad map for us, but we did get smoked. I will give that to OpTic. They fucking slammed us map 1. We played like shit. We got 100 fucking left, the whole thing. If we didn't bounce back from that and like we just got 3-0 checked, fucking slammed, like, yeah, like maybe, but like, bro, like even the Mercado hardpoint, like we put ourselves in opportunities to win that game multiple times and then made a fucking huge mistake and then gave it to OpTic. And then OpTic, the good team that they are, we've talked about this a billion times, capitalizes and wins. A good team capitalizes on another team's mistakes, vice versa. So it's like we played a close Mercado, and even at the end, if a BZ probably gets the gunfight on the blue side, like we might actually have a chance of even winning that thing closer. But my point is like, bro, like how can you say the crowd affected that when like we just weren't playing good COD? Like, bro, we played like shit COD the entire thing. Like nothing changed. Like I like, bro, that is the craziest thing ever. And also like. The players on my team specifically have been around way too long to let that shit fucking bother them. Like, bro, what Ant said, like, no, like they don't show up there and be like, we got to do this because we got to fucking shut down the crowd. Like, bro, they're there to do it. Like,
that happens to some teams, but not like.
Yeah.
Bro, our bread and butter, we won. Period. Like, and then like
we talked about it in the beginning of the show, though. Like you guys' point in the beginning of the show. If you come in there trying to be the team and the crowd, like it's probably not going to go well.
But experienced players don't show. No one like respectfully. They're not. They don't give a fuck about what the crowd's saying. That's what I'm saying. They're there to execute their game plan, which clearly we were not doing.
In London, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody on the stage just played in like London.
I do want to ask you. Do you mind if I ask you this question, Chris? And if you don't want to answer, it's all good. Like this is a follow up. You guys have obviously the one team now the last 2 years you guys don't have a winning record against is OpTic. Do you think that like you guys are just approaching those matches differently and that's affecting you? Like what do you think is?
I think last year we were not good. I said this already. There was a lot of second places that we got last year that we did not deserve. Plain and simple. I like in the sense of there was a lot of second places that we got through some tough times with a Cellium 40 bomb, and we were never on the same page last year. We had a lot of, again, our team behind the scenes last year was not well practiced. Last year was a shit show. We weren't like, bro, we weren't that good. I think everyone on my team would even say so. Like we weren't as good as we could be. And therefore leading to the structure point, like I don't think we were that structured last year in the sense of like getting on the same page with some shit. And there was a lot of stuff that I'm not going to go deep into because it's over with. This year, the same thing. Right now, personally, I think our hard point, we're doing some of the stuff. I've said this so many times. We're doing the hard part. We're getting those kills. But then like the game plan that like should be there and like we've talked about just isn't getting executed. We're not doing what we're saying we're going to do. You know what I mean? And with that meaning, there's a gap open. When you play a team like OpTic, for example, I think OpTic's a really good example that have players like Ant, like you were saying, Shotzzy and Hook and shit, but mainly Shotzzy because Hook wasn't there last year. Like, if you leave a gap open for Shotzzy, he is going to fucking slaughter you. Right? Like, that's that is what happens. Plain and simple. So I think, yeah. So again, I think like that team specifically has matched up well with us because like, I feel like the gaps in our fucking respawn sometimes are just like, last year was a shit show. This year, we know the problems and like we're all on the same page. We just have to start doing them. So we have to get better practice and do it. But like, yeah, like we're just not that well structured of a team right now. That's why I think Toronto played very well against OpTic because I think their structure right now, it looks like they're on the same page and they're not leaving a lot of gaps. So like, I just think again, like, I don't think it's something where like, yeah, the crowd or anything like that. Again, like I just think we need to get our game plan and execute it way better. And that's just what it is. Like, I really don't think it's more than that, to be honest with you. Like, like again, I think Shotzzy plays very well with us because again, you leave a gap like that, motherfucker, to go through it and do it, that motherfucker is going to destroy you.
Yeah.
So it's like again,
punch is hard.
I don't know. So it's like
I also feel like, I mean, and this is from the outside looking at, I feel like Celium just gets like, he's not the same against OpTic. I don't know what that is. It's just a playstyle thing.
Did he play? Did he play Ben? No, or what do you mean by like that? Like stats wise, or you just saying like
I
just like?
I feel like his impact. No, I don't even looked at the stats. I just feel like his impact when I'm watching like those series is just not the same. I don't know. We'd have to like live watch it together.
Yeah, I would love to live watch that with you and just like see what you're coming from. Just because I think in general, again, I can't like as much as like this is an off stream conversation, but like there's some stuff that I want to change about just like a lot of the stuff, not him specifically, but just everything to get like, you know, X, Y, or Z in like better spots and like, you know, to do more impactful shit. So it's like, yeah, I don't think it's just a him thing, but yeah, no.
Yeah, I know you can't talk about it live on stream because it's like obviously a game plan coaching thing.
Yeah.
But I know how it works. Like I'm not dumb enough to
I know you
shit on.
No,
it's probably one of those things where it's a system thing and it's like.
Well, yeah, and it's just a lot of times too. It's just like there is a lot of points on like, you know, map 4 versus them where it's like, yeah, we got the kills and like, you know, I think there was one hard point where like we left tunnel wide open and like the motherfucker came through tunnel, shot us in the back and breaks us, and it's like we just got 3 kills. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how is that open type thing? And like miscomms and shit like that, and like again misplays. So it's like, yeah, like I don't think it's a him versus OpTic thing. I think it's just again like we're not doing the right shit at the right time, and when you don't do the right shit at the right time, things can just get punished really bad. So I just feel like again, I think that just hurts. Like if you play an unstructured like game plan versus them, like you just get shit on. So like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like again, I think we're completely fine. Like I'm not worried about any of that at all.
Cool. Well, I think we can end it there because we've run well over 2 hours. I want to make sure this video is watchable. Chris, you want to do an episode next? We have stuff to talk about. We should do an episode next week.
We can just do a short. Yeah, we can talk about changes. Yeah, some shit.
Yeah, take some questions. And you're always welcome to come in for these. I know you're always up and about.
Fellas.
Absolutely.
But if you enjoyed the episode, guys, the VOD will be up on Chris's YouTube. You're already watching it. So make sure to check that out. It's Crowder YT, I think is your YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. Anchor.fm/scrap time. If you're looking for all the versions of the audio podcasts on your favorite platform, you can visit those there. We need to get a Twitter account going at some point. We're working on that. But always let us guys know on Twitter, on the comments of the videos, like on the audio side, like what do you guys like about the show? What do you want to work on? Like Chris and I just started doing this. It's like we're not even 10 episodes in yet. So any and all feedback, we enjoy doing these on Monday for you guys. And we'll see you guys. Well, we're doing it on Tuesday. Do Tuesdays after events. But thanks you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next one.